Now, England are a bit late coming on. They've in the middle now, but there's a sort of long discussion going on the boundary edge. The umpires are almost having to signal them to come back onto the field. They are now. And the West Indians are arriving. Phil Tufnell's alongside me. I haven't seen much of you today, Tuffers.
No.
But what do you think? 31, I think they are ahead now, aren't they?
Yeah, well, I think... How many overs to the new ball, John?
Now.
Well, I think it's going to be crucial, isn't it?
Yeah,
good to go. We might see a few fireworks. This is going to be the crucial stage, isn't it?
Yes.
Anderson perhaps to get a bit of swing, and Wood and Archer steaming in from the other end. England will be thinking, 3 or 4 quick wickets, we're back in the game, but... On the other side of it, as we know, the new ball can travel a bit, can't it?
It can travel, and this lower or middle order of West Indies team have come out. Apart from, Chase has really got his head down.
Yeah.
But the other end, there's been a few shots played. But he's on strike. Anderson is going to bowl, and I'm just trying to see if I can actually see if he's got the new ball in his hand or not. I assume he has.
Yeah, he's really dropped anchor, Chase, hasn't he? He's played a vital role. 2
slips, a gully. And a really important session. There's England need these wickets. The lead is 31 for West Indies. They've got 5 wickets left. Holder's due to come in next, and Anderson's on his way. The first ball of this session does swing away gently, but it's been creamed through cover for 4 by Chase, who's really been very reluctant to play any shots at all. But there's a nice swinging, loosening half volley, and Anderson will be cursing, because that's just not the start that you want. It really isn't.
No, it gives all the impetus back to the batsman, doesn't it? But and that's what can happen with the new ball. You get any sort of bat on it, it can fly away to the boundary. And sometimes when the ball swings, it just gets the batsman in that sort of mindset of, right, if it's up there, I'm going after it.
Yeah. Well, he played that really well. It wasn't much foot movement. We just waited for the ball to come and hit it really well. In goes Anderson again. He bowls on the leg stump this time, turned away for more runs. Certainly a couple. Archer's coming running around that long leg boundary. They've taken 2. They'll think about 3. Darrich is very quick, and sure enough, it is a very long way down there. They come back for the 3rd run, so 7 from the first 2 balls.
That's more than Chase scored in his first 70 balls after lunch.
Yeah.
That was his first boundary since 2 balls before lunch.
Really?
There you go.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Well, he has literally weighed anchor. But, maybe he's had one of those cream slices you were talking about for tea earlier on, Tuffers.
Bit of sugar.
Yeah, it's going a bit. 2:42 for 5. The lead, 38. Darrich on strike. Then goes Anderson to the bright orange on the soles of his boots as he runs away, and Darrich plays that to backward point. And there's no run this time. 2:42 for 5. Those were when tees were tees, weren't they? I've been talking to those 2 lads there about the tees that they're not going to be able to have in the recreational game now. The cream slice.
Yeah, the eclair.
It used to be a lovely thing playing at Lord's, of course, where you played all your cricket for Middlesex, but you'd hear the wooden tea trolley coming up the corridor.
Yes, chinking along.
What's coming on here? Proper teapots.
Yeah,
never had that at Grace Road.
No, you didn't. No.
Then goes Anderson again. Sun behind cloud. Darrich a little squared up, but he's hit that absolutely straight back into the stumps. You'll be heard there. The clatter of the ball, and the bails have fallen off.
It's a lovely noise, that, isn't it? The old teacups rattling and those little teaspoons just.
Well, it was there
tinkling.
because they were just so good. Weren't they full of cream?
Oh, lovely. Crusts cut off as well.
I don't suppose. Yes, they were. I don't suppose they have them now. Teas like that.
No, it'll all be protein shakes.
It will, a banana.
And you have to sit on a bike for 20 minutes or something.
Yeah.
That 4th from the first ball after T also brought up the 50 partnership from 19.1 overs.
Well, this is... Oh, carry on.
It's all right. The lead 38. Anderson on his way again. Bowls to Darrich. Just again leg side-ish.
This has been the strength of the West Indies, hasn't it? They're sort of lower order. Have all sort of managed to get stuck in and put partnerships together. You get through the...
Anderson's cross, but he's absolutely kicking away at that foothold there. Whether the groundsman has put something in, sometimes they do at tee. Sort of like cement that goes in to level it out, but Jimmy is not happy at all with that. He's kicked it all out. Dust flying everywhere.
When you slam that front foot down, you want to have a bit of traction, don't you?
But it's also when there's a ridge or where 2 bowlers are landing in almost the same place but not quite, hurts.
Yeah, and you feel that slightly wobble on your ankle.
Bruises straight up into your foot. 2:42 for 5. Anderson bowls. Darrich gets an inside portion of the battle. That wasn't quite inside edge, but Anderson fields, and that's the end of a disappointing over for him. That's not the start he'd have wanted. 2:42 for 5. The lead is 38. Chase 34. Dulwich has 30. The floodlights off at the moment.
Good.
They've been on and off and on and off throughout the day. But
who decides when to flick the switch? Because they have been on some such strange times.
yes, it may be Chris Broad, I suppose.
Oh, okay.
Who's up there as a match referee? Very disappointed. Yes, I got a message from him on the scoreboard that was doing the rounds on the internet. He was down as Brian Broad.
Oh, not happy.
No, so he is BC Broad.
Yeah.
So he is Brian Broad, but he doesn't like it apparently.
Oh, okay.
So we've hopefully corrected that. It's funny, isn't it? But anyway, there you go. He's not really a Brian, is he?
I've been a bit disappointed with the way England bowled. Would that be fair enough, John? I know it's different conditions.
Rusty,
Yeah, rusty perhaps.
2:42 for 5. In comes Archer, and he bowls and chases hit on the pad there. You heard an appeal from Joss Butler behind the stumps. It looked leg side from here, but Chase was knocked a little off balance there. That was 80 miles an hour, that one. Archer's really varied his pace today. With Archer, it's hard to tell. Often he has got a slower ball, that's obvious.
Yeah.
But he's such a rhythmical bowler. I think his speed does vary quite a lot just naturally anyway.
Yeah. Snap and whip, isn't it? That wrist.
When everything clicks, it's 90.
Yeah.
If it's not quite, it's in the 80s. That's the sound of a West Indian dragging his kit behind him, and that's almost a Yorker from Archer, and it's to run away down to fine leg. So down here, we've got sort of these light blue coloured footsteps.
Yeah.
All marked out, and that is the walkway for the players, and that's right below our window and our microphones there. So that was the sound of a West Indian who's come to the net, I suppose. One of the reserves heading off to his room, which is all part of this hotel. They're on the floor above us,
Yeah.
and England are on the floor above that, basically.
No lifts either, are there?
No, are they allowed to use lifts?
No, I don't know. We're not.
All that kit. No, I know. Here's Archer, and inside edge into the pad there as Dulwich comes forward.
Now, I mentioned that about England's bowling. I know you can all be a bit rusty and what have you, and pace, but I've been a little bit disappointed with lines. You know, there seems to have been hit both sides of the wicket, which is infuriating as a captain, isn't it? You know,
Yeah, it is.
So you can forgive perhaps, not the real sharpness and what have you, but at least get it one side of the pitch.
Yeah. 2:43 for 5. The lead is 39. Sun behind cloud. Archer's on his way, and he bowls a ball that rises. It's played by Dulwich off the back foot, securely enough, and fielded by Crawley.
Still got
Shotsing up from point.
Still got the skipper to come as well.
They have.
And he's obviously in a bit of nick with everything.
Yeah.
And he can be an awkward fella because he's so tall to find that length. You almost have to bowl a completely different length to him. We've got so much reach and, long arms and bat.
2:43 for 5. Archer past the umpire, very full, clipped away, goes one bounce to square leg. And Archer looks towards the heavens. There's a little bit more in that shot, and that might have carried as a catch, but not on that occasion. 2:43 for 5.
Been impressed with Bess. Just done a little piece down there for the highlights tonight, 7 o'clock on BBC Two.
I thought you had a bit of something in your hair. Yeah. All you television lovers, it never used to be like this. You and Michael and Alistair and so on, all very smartly dressed.
Yeah.
Archer comes cutting back and hits Dulwich on the pad, runs away into the offside, and Crawley fields. There's no run. 2:43 for 5. So you've been incisive.
Well, no, I think you bowl very maturely. For a first day, flat pitch. England were looking for some control early on, weren't they? And they found that then with Anderson and Bess, and he was crucial to that. So not only did he draw up the runs, but then occasionally he just went hunting. Like a good spinner should. You can't just be happy with 25 overs numb for 50. You've got to sort of enjoy yourself a bit as well, and throw the odd one wide and take the risk of bowling it a bit slower outside.
But you've always made the point that spinners can still be aggressive. You can still be. You can still give the batsman the eye, and you can be in his face. And Bess is like that. He is quite an aggressive.
Yeah, you've got to be a threat.
Yeah,
or at least make yourself look like a threat.
Yeah. Here's Anderson. It goes straight through Chase. How did that not bowl in? Straight over the stumps it went.
Yeah, good delivery. He was disappointed with that first over, I think, Jim. He's going to get something going now.
Straight over the stumps.
Yeah, my father always used to say, if you can't fight, wear a big hat, Phil.
Okay.
Yeah. And that sort of is a bit like spin bowling, you know. If nothing's really happening, well, if you've got a big hat on, you look like something might be happening.
It's quite hard to bowl with a big hat on, though, isn't it? Anderson bowls, and moves away this time, goes past the outside edge and into Butler. So how do you bowl with a big hat on?
Well, no, it's a sort of, what is it? Euphemism, isn't it? You know, if you're a gunslinger, if you're a gunslinger and you're walking into town in the Western, I'd be more frightened of a bloke with a big hat on.
Would you?
Than a bloke with a little hat on.
Did he own a hat shop in Mexico?
Okay.
Yeah. And Bess has that. He's got a bit of presence.
He has. Oh no, he's a fighty so-and-so.
Yeah.
Off goes Anderson, and that's pushed away off the back foot out to cover. No run again, 2:43 for 5.
And have you mentioned, of course, I mean, I know that the conditions have changed, there's a bit of cloud cover now, but not being able to shine the ball.
No.
We've said, where's that Anderson beautiful away swinger and Duke ball and what have you? Well, I suppose that must come into it a little bit as well.
Just watching Bess there at mid-off, actually, he did mop his brow and rubbed it in. But so the talk yesterday was of back sweat.
Oh, right.
That's in the.
Is that the best kind of
base
shining?
Of your back?
Is that the best kind of shining?
Well, it seems to have been. Anderson bowls and it goes past the edge again.
It's better.
Chase plays and misses. He's all over him at the moment.
Yeah.
After that disappointing first over, 2:43 for 5. Yeah. We know what players are like. They're going to find any way in which to try and help themselves in a situation, aren't they? If they can't use saliva. And somebody Mark Wood was talking about it yesterday. They're using sweat from the back.
I suppose you've got to find. Well, Alistair Cook, because he didn't sweat, always used to polish the ball, didn't he?
He did.
So I suppose.
That was for sort of reverse swing purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anderson again bowls. Comes cutting back. That's hit him in a nasty place. That was a soft thud, I'm afraid.
So the chief shiner might be the sweatiest England player.
He might be now.
Because when you want reverse swing, you want to keep the ball dry, and that's where Sir Alistair used to do it.
He did.
You might have to find some really sweaty chap.
Yeah. Not sure who that might be out there.
No, nor do I don't really want to find out.
No. But that was, dear, poor old Chase, I'm afraid. It's just...
it's taken a bit of time.
I'm afraid his eyes are still watery. But, he's all right now. He's over his bat anyway. Anderson there, and he bowls very full, round about the leg stump, turned away for 1 run to Archer. He won't give away a second this time, so he picks the ball up and runs in with it. And that's the end of the over, 2:44 for 5. So 3 overs gone with the second new ball. That was a much better over from Anderson there, beaten both sides of the bat. And the lead is 40.
Yeah.
And the West Indies have still got 5 wickets left, so they're in a very, very good position here. They can just see this off. Kevin Hutchinson emails. Hello, Kevin. Lots been made about the players returning to cricket, but please give a shout out to all the umpires and scorers who are carrying out their duties to enable the players to get the most out of their games. Absolutely, Kevin. And we've been talking, I think, about the umpiring here, and such that the players are a bit rusty. Well, so too with the umpires. It's a tough job, and it's something that you just get in the rhythm of doing, just like playing. Now, the next one from Archer is a half volley on the leg stump, and he's been put away through mid-wicket, and that'll run away for 4, taking the lead to 44.
And that goes back to the lines I was saying about too many runs have been scored on both sides of the wicket.
I'm afraid that was a gift.
Yeah, it was indeed. Leg stump half volley. Yeah.
Any player worth their salt at this level will put that away for 4. They don't miss those out.
When Archer bowls well, he's able to stand that one because it's naturally looking to tail into off stump, but when he's on form, he stands that one on, it just leaves the right hander. I haven't seen a lot of that from him.
He's on his way there, and Chase has pulled away for some reason. Not sure what that was all about.
Well, in that inside thigh, when you get hit occasionally on that inside thigh, I think there must be a nerve running down that inside thigh, because I used to get hit there a little bit.
It's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah, and it sort of goes all down your leg, doesn't it? Oh. Like a burning sensation right down your leg. Hard ball, isn't it?
It is. It's such a new one. Archer Bowles. Oh, he's done it again.
Dear.
And he's put that away even more firmly now. He's really given that a bit of a flick, and it's flown through mid-wicket for 4. The 250's up. This is not good from England's perspective.
No.
Very good from the West Indies. Lead 48.
And this might be where a bit of a lack of crowd, might hinder a side in England's position at the moment, because this is when you're sort of like, you're clapping your hands and, come on boys, that's not good enough, let's get over here, and you get that buzz of the crowd, and they start geeing you on to try and pick you up a little bit, and there's nothing there for the bowlers.
That's a good point. Balmiami was singing.
Yes, that's right.
Archer's on his way. There's a deep square leg this time.
Better.
And that's outside the off stump, but there's an indication there that Stokes is a little bit worried now, because the deep square leg is in place. There's still 2 slips and a gully.
I think he's done all right, Stokes.
Yeah.
No, he's captained pretty well, wasn't he? Started off aggressive, didn't he? And then had to sort of like rearrange a few things. Was looking for the partnership, as we said, of Anderson and Best to sort of restrict runs and get a few wickets. But then this is now up to the quicks. Come on, boys, we need some wickets here.
252 for 5. Archer cruises up and bowls very short, fast, down the leg side though. And Chase was hurried in getting his gloves and bat out of the way, but managed to do so successfully.
And is this a bit harsh on Wood and Archer? But on this sort of pitch, if they're not just sort of running in and bowling bouncers, there hasn't been a sort of a stock kind of aggressive attacking threat to them, if you know what I mean.
Well, that's where
Broad would have been perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
252 for 5. And comes Archer. Bowls full. Dug out by Chase and played down to mid-off. I mean, someone made the point today, I don't know who it was, whether it was you or Michael, but they said that if they had picked Broad, they might well have done things the other way around and perhaps bowl first.
Yes. I think it was me, actually.
Was it you? Well done, Tufford. I'll credit you with that.
Thank you.
It might have been a different tactic all the way around.
Yeah.
But they've thought of it in different bounds. Well, it's your theory, you can tell it yourself. But the quicker bowlers on the last day.
Yeah. But you've got to get there.
You have got to get there. You've got to get there in a winning position.
Yeah.
Archer bowls short and Chase sways out of the way. Through it goes to the keeper. 252 for 5 at the end of that over.
He's done that very well, Chase. Dropped the hands, bobbed and weaved. Seemed a decent player.
252 for 5. The lead is 48.
We've got some CricViz data on the lines and lengths. You're talking about how England have bowled more sort of leg side than West Indies. They break up the line of balls. This is at the sort of point of that the ball reaches the batsman to balls that are on the stumps to the leg side, what they call the channel, so on just outside of stump and then wide. And England have bowled 36% of their balls on the stumps or to the leg side. The West Indies were just 27% of their balls there. And in terms of lengths, the West Indies bowled 37% of their balls full. England just 26%.
In goes Anderson, bowling to Durrich. And first ball, good length and push back to the bowler. Durrich on 30, which is more runs than he scored in the entire series last time he was here.
Yeah, he's improved, hasn't he?
Yep, 30 not out.
I was talking to Carlos, I don't know whether he said it on air, but he got a bit stuck. They say, you could sort of suffocate and make him claustrophobic at the crease, if you just hold a channel. He didn't particularly have a release shot or anything, but now he looks like he's worked on that, and he's hit clip shots and to the spinner, look to attack. It does help.
Anderson bowls to him. Wide outside the off stump is another boundary.
Wow.
Swinging, but width. And Durrich has just hit that hard through extra cover. There's no applause, of course, but there would be, I think, from the West Indies camp. 256 for 5. The lead now is 52. And this second new ball, I'm afraid, is proving to be expensive from England's perspective.
Yeah, it's disappearing. It's too wide there from Jimmy, too wide. I mean, OK, if you manage to get a feather on there and you sort of say well bowled, but I mean that was really wide and swinging away.
He's looking dismayed, Anderson.
Yeah.
Not happy at all, that body language.
No.
256 for 5. He goes again, wearing that black headband. Over the wicket he goes and bowls to Durrich, and that's a better one that finds the edge and having squared the batsman up a little bit. So fielded by Burns. in the gully.
Just another little stat on how well West Indies have batted as a team. This partnership's 70. The partnerships they've had 43, 59, 38, 33, 13, and now 70 unbroken. There's only once have they lost 2 wickets in quick succession, whereas we saw England have a sort of collapse yesterday, and they lost their second wicket at 48, their third at 51, and then they had that collapse, losing 3 for 3. So West Indies have done very well not to allow one wicket to lead to another.
Anderson bowls, Durrett drives, down the ground to mid-on.
And looking at touring teams in England, again, where it's been one of the toughest places to bat for away teams in recent years, 5 of the top 6 partnerships have reached 30, and that's only the 4th time a visiting team has done that in a test in England since 2007. So very good team effort by West Indies.
Yeah.
Well, they've just done the basics, which is all you can do with no form coming in or whatever. It's just you do the basics of cricket, as you say. Don't lose wickets before breaks, and get partnerships. Try not to have one bloke, a couple of blokes on Nord and things like that, bowl one side of the wicket, and they've done that better than England so far. Simple as.
Anderson, Durrett stuck on the pad high though. Butler and a couple of the slips were appealing optimistically, but don't get any joy out of the umpire for that. 256 for 5, deserted a GS Bowl, ground staff sitting on some empty seats to the left. But looking around the concourse, there's no movement at all. On this concourse normally there's the fast food stalls and the bars.
Oh, no.
The place is buzzing. So there's just
smells wafted about.
Yes.
Yeah, you always miss that bacon sandwich smell in the morning.
256 for 5. Anderson on his way, bowls short, and he's been pulled into the leg side. It's not been well timed, and Archer, who's now been moved to mid-on, suggesting to me that he's been taken off from bowling, chases that down towards the boundary, and that's the last ball of that over. So 258 for 5. The lead is 54.
It just looks a bit flat, John, doesn't it, out there?
Yeah, it does.
I wondered the atmosphere.
It's hard to judge that because there is just no noise. So.
No, but even sort of Jimmy there, he's just sort of, sort of, you can feel his frustration in himself there, just sort of wandering back and putting his jumper on.
Yeah.
Usually it's like, come on, give me the ball, it's my time, it's a new ball, I'll get these wickets for you, Skip.
Is Archer going to bowl? He is coming up to bowl, I think. I thought for a moment there Wood was going to come on, but Wood is instead heading off down to long leg, and Archer, let's go and chase that ball from mid-on, is going to go and continue from the other end, but from England's perspective, a better over than the previous one.
Yeah. I think sometimes you've almost got to bowl. What I did when I didn't feel in rhythm was just run up and hit the wicket-keeper's gloves.
Yeah.
And then sort of you get in that rhythm, you get in that groove, and then you can start looking for that unplayable delivery.
In comes Archer. Is there any bowls short?
That's it. Sort of sorry.
Chase manages to sway out of the way.
Yeah, almost sort of just run up and go, right, this over, I'm just going to run up and bowl 6 of those just short of a length outside off stump, almost make him leave 6, and then it's giving you something just to sort of base your spell from.
Yeah. Let's try and bowl a maiden.
Yes, well, there you go.
That's the start, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
It's got that deep square leg out, and here he comes once again to Ross and Chase. And that's it won't be a maiden over because it's tucked that away for a single to mid-wicket. One more, 259 for 5. The lead goes to 55.
Another stat there for Andy's little thing there, leg stump. There again, both sides of the wicket.
Yeah.
Frustrating. Taking nothing away from the West Indies, mind. Played well.
Well, and their supporters will be so pleased because this is what we saw in the Caribbean just over a year ago.
Yeah.
We saw this sort of approach. Archer bowls a good short ball. That's got Dowrich ducking and then losing balance and backpedaling. And he's only a short man, but that went whistling over his head. He managed to get underneath it, but
it didn't quite
nasty bounce.
Yeah, it didn't quite bounce as much.
No,
as he's jammed it in. Whoa, yeah, that would have smarted. Just went over the top of his head.
I suspect that Chase, who's much taller, would have possibly stood up and played that.
Yeah, or just dropped the hands. I've been impressed with the way he's done that. He hasn't been flustered, he hasn't ducked, he's just weaved and dropped hands.
259 for 5. Archer bowls another bouncer.
Yeah.
Dowrich again evades that successfully enough, this time going to the offside rather than the leg side. That was directed more that way from Archer. 2:59 for 5. 2 balls remain in this over. Stokes pacing about, so much on his mind. The captain, well, I suppose he has to put the toss business away now. Did he make the right decision, wrong decision? It doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah, it does. It's in the back of your head, though, isn't it, Angus, as you know.
In goes Archer, bowls, and that's turned by Dowrich into the leg side. You can hear him there shouting 2-2-2. Will he get 2-2-2? No, only get the 1. As the fielder picks up and throws that in.
Desmond.
Ollie Pope out there. 260 for 5. The lead 56. And certainly disappointing period here for England's coming out after tea. The new ball ready to go. Conceding. How many runs have they conceded since tea?
Yeah.
Andy, in these 6 overs are about to be completed anyway.
24.
Archer bowls outside the off stump, and that completes that over. So the lead is 56. It's 260 for 5. Andy, Phil, you fill the void, and then Alison Mitchell's coming in here.
So 25, not 24. Let's be exactly accurate about that. It's 260 for 5. It was 235 for 5 at tea. So the lead is now 56.
Well, I suppose it's kind of crucial, Andy, you know, being accurate as a scorer. I'm voting tease.
Luckily, I'm not keeping score for the actual game.
No.
Andy, I think that's when you say, Phil, would you like to score?
No. No, thank you.
Have you ever scored, Tuffers? Did you ever score club cricket?
I've had a go. I've had a go. It's a bit like captaining, you know, just pens everywhere. There's things to do. Times walked in, times walked out. You know, how many overs? Oh, it's tough. It's tough. Too much going on for me.
We won't be handing you the job anytime soon. Thankfully, Andy's got it covered. 260 for 5 then. Well, the new ball has not really done the job for England, has it?
Disappeared.
Well, England haven't done the job with the new ball.
Yes. Yes, that's the way round.
The ball doesn't do it by
itself. Come on, ball.
The lead 56, and the runs have come decent lick since the tea break. Here is Anderson again then. Dowrich on 37. It's a full ball. He's driving an on drive, only as far as mid-on though, and there's no run.
It's all hit in the middle of the bat at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah. Always worried about the hard ball coming off the bat or coming onto the bat with better pace, flying away.
Yeah. I mean, it's looked like an England bowling performance that's lacked, you know, rhythm. And you can understand that. But, the West Indies seemed to do it all right, though, didn't they? You know, perhaps they were just a little bit, I don't know, you know, better prepared, I don't know. Well, not prepared, but...
Maybe there was some, an extra fire emotion in them, maybe. Now, that is a good ball from Anderson. It draws Dowrich forward, and it beats the outside edge of the bat. And it goes through to Butler, and he's wandered away towards square leg now, swishing his bat and then rehearsing and doing an imaginary leave.
And that's what happens. I mean, see, when you do have cloud cover and you're a seamer, you kind of... It gives you heart, you know. The guys now going, everything's sort of stacked against us a little bit. And, you know, you have to force that delivery. When there is a little bit of cloud cover, that sort of delivery just seems to come round more often, doesn't it? Anderson
past the umpire, full down the leg side. It's flicked away, beating Butler away for 4 runs in front of the sight screen beneath the pavilion.
Yeah.
Well, the runs are coming. The lead's up to 60 as Dowrich moves to 41, 264 for 5. You don't often see Anderson firing them down the leg side like that. Just a little glance away.
Yeah. Started it off on the wrong line, overcompensated. That was the in-swinger, but sort of started at middle stump and just with the angle and a bit of shape, just drifting down and put away comfortably.
264 for 5, so at tea it was 235 for 5. The lead was 31 then. A little bit off the outside-ish of the bat, maybe angled, opening the face. Down to third man and a single taken. Dowrich on to 42. Now, when was the last time Ben Stokes had a bowl? He hasn't bowled much in this match, actually, has he, Andy?
He's bowled 9 overs, 3 spells, 2 overs yesterday and 4 and a 3 over spell today. His last over was the 69th over, bowled the 65th, 67th and 69th.
Yeah, and that's what then can be difficult for a captain who's a bowler.
How much do you bowl yourself or do you not? Anderson in again, length, turn past the square leg umpire. I'll take 1.
Yeah. Yes, and I've heard that from bowlers who have been captaining. That you almost need one of your senior players to say, no, right, come on, because it's your time now. And then sort of say, well, now it's time for you to come off, and now it's time for you, come on, give me another two.
Too much me if you're the captain and you're saying, right, I'm going to bowl.
Yeah, but then also the other way, sometimes you don't bowl yourself enough because you feel, oh, am I hogging it? It can be an awkward thing to just get right.
And on a day when England needs something to happen, so often in the past, Stokes has been the man to turn to.
Yes,
obviously the new ball, we'll see Anderson and Archibald a little longer yet, a little bit of width, trying to chop away, gets a bottom edge into the ground, does Dowrich, fielded in the covers, and there's no run. 266 for 5 at the end of the over then, and the lead 62. Tremendous partnership between Chase and Dowrich, both honing in on half centuries here, following on from the 65 scored by Craig Brathwaite. So England's 204 is more and more looking like an inadequate first innings. West Indies' best chance of winning now is to get a solid, commanding first innings lead. Put England under real pressure in a second innings because the West Indies won't want to chase too much. A fourth innings here, there is the sense of, well, how much will it turn and what impact could Dom Bess have in a fourth innings? So more runs they can get here. Michael Vaughan, good afternoon to you, the better place they're going to be.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Here's Archer with the pavilion behind him. Over the wicket he comes, and it's full and clipped away square by Roston Chase. Goes through for the single, stretches that lead.
Well, the best time to bat for me has been in the last 7.1 overs. The second new ball, it's looked glorious for batting. A little bit of swing, not a great deal. There's been no uneven bounce. Ball's coming onto the bat nicely. Roston Chase played that glorious cover drive from Jimmy Anderson's first ball with a second new ball, and it's just set the tone. Trouble for England. West Indies leading already by 63.
2 slips in a gully for Archer, defended by Dowrich. Into the onside, no run. Archer turns, walks back to his mark, and they need a lift, don't they? Need some energy going, and that's what partly comes from the captain, partly comes from the wicket-keeper ordinarily, doesn't it? That sort of engine room sense.
Yeah, and I guess the kind nature of pundits and people around the commentary box, with the kind of preparation that both teams have had. You've got to be...
Archer in, and he's got underneath it, Dowrich. He's not a tall man. That ball didn't get up massively, and he was ducking and then skipping away towards the offside to get out of the way, and he evaded it well in the end.
Yeah, you've got to be understandable about the preparation time and how disjointed and how hard it must be for the players, but it's been exactly the same for both sets of players. And so far, over the course of the 3 days, the West Indies have just been so much better than the England team in all disciplines of the game.
Archer with a white sweatband on his left wrist in, and has Dowrich up on his toes that time, defending into the offside. Finds a fielder and there's no run. Well, they're showing great patience in the batting, haven't they? I mean, Blackwood is the only one who really started to go, and it was his downfall. A soft dismissal to Anderson at mid-off. And that was the second wicket for Dom Bess, wasn't it? But these two in particular, following on from Brathwaite, I mean, it's been doughty batting at times, but it's been required as well. Now, that one is a good ball from Archer. That just seemed to take off a little more off the pitch, and Dowrich dropping his hands at the very last moment. That had pace from Archer, and it was just a little bit of wobble seams. He delivered it. Took off.
Yeah, it's the first real ball, and the more I watch Jofra Archer, he's trying to get the ball full, but I think his natural length is that length, where he just hits that fullish length and it kind of bounces, or the odd one keeps a little bit low. When he tries to get it really full, it almost floats down there to the batsman.
Archer in again, over the wicket to Dowrich. He leaves that one alone. Good judgment. You get the sense he knows where his off stump is. It ends the over from Archer. The lead is 63. West Indies 267 for 5. Chase on 47 and Dowrich on 42. Got an email here, Michael. Good chat on club cricket during the tea break. But we've got this letter in from Moseley Cricket Club, who want to actually pay tribute to Roy Abel. He says that Moseley Cricket Club writes, just before the return of international cricket, we learnt of the recent death of Roy Abel, who was a key part of the club's success in the 1960s. Abel, the club writes, a prominent artist, played against the West Indies touring side in 1950, the year there was the famous victory over England. He was complimented by the great Sir Everton Weekes, who's the late great Sir Everton Weekes now, for his bowling. He was also asked by MJK Smith if he wanted to play for Warwickshire, but he chose to pursue a career as a painter rather than a cricketer. Roy, they go on, a leg spinner, was the first bowler to take 1,000 Birmingham League wickets, forming a formidable partnership with Bert Latham, and also holds what must be a league record of figures of 6 for 2. They are good figures. Moseley writes that when Roy retired in 1982, he did so because he felt he was stopping younger players from being given opportunities. He said, "I don't want to be a stumbling block." Some of his portraits of teammates grace cricket bars around the league. Moseley writes that he'll be greatly missed by the art world and, of course, the cricket world, particularly at Moseley. And that's a nice letter to receive.
Lovely, yeah.
Roy Abel, artist rather than professional cricketer. Anderson in. Fullish to Chase, who's defending up towards mid-off, and there is no run.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of excited recreational cricketers. I don't know how many clubs around the country have organised. I don't know if many leagues are starting tomorrow. I know they can play tomorrow, but I don't know if they've had enough time to kind of set up the league programme. I'm sure there'll be a few friendlies or inter-club games.
Yeah, it's getting the head around and the organisation and logistics that's required around everything, from clubs collecting their cricket balls, specific time slots, keeping everyone safe doing that. Anderson in again outside the off stump, and through to Butler at a slightly lower trajectory.
I was saying to
stumps.
Agus, because there's no tees, I think we should really run a best pat lunch. Who's going to take the best pat lunch to their recreational cricket game this weekend?
I mean, isn't that often a source of competitiveness amongst spectators at test matches, for example? When you all come, yes, who's got the best hamper? A hamper contest. I think people could take photographs, couldn't they, and send them in to us.
There'll be a good chip shop, won't there, by some of the grounds?
There'll be a lot of picnics out the back of car boots, won't there, in car parks around the clubs. Anderson in, forcing it away, out towards point, one bounce. And fielded by Burns. Chase on 47, one boundary away from a hard-earned half-century. 139 balls he's been out there for. What go in your best?
Well, I used to play for Sheffield Collegiate back in the day, and the fourth 11 on a Sunday, which I started playing in that team probably when I was about 12. And it was many of the players. We generally had to field first because they liked to open a bottle or two in the second innings while they were waiting to bat.
What a ploy. Anderson in again, short ball, and it almost gloved it. Chase looking to pull it away, almost got a glove through to Butler. A bouncer from Anderson.
I don't know what I'd probably just go for. I'm not too sure. I'd probably make myself a wrap.
A wrap
or two, a bit of crisps, crackers, a bit of pate. I don't know. What would you go for? What would you go for, Andy? You'd have a bit of relish, wouldn't you?
I'd just eat some stats.
Just numbers.
Just get a Wisdom, melt shit up, eat it.
Anderson in again, full of that time, bat and pad back up the pitch.
Bit of ketchup on the Wisdom.
Well, your numbers would be crunchy, wouldn't they? You would be crunching your numbers.
What do you go for, Ali? What are you putting in your
I'd definitely do some strawberries.
Strawberries are very nice.
Yep. Strawberries.
So you're a Wimbledon going, aren't you? Very
a bit classic. A bit classic.
Strawberries and cream.
But no, nice kind of brown breaded sandwiches. Maybe just a good solid cheese and pickle, actually.
Oh, very good. Yeah.
No, I don't think you can go too far
sausage
wrong with
roll.
that.
You can't beat a sausage roll.
I'm not a sausage roll fan, I'm afraid.
No,
not so much. It's the pastry and flakiness, bit messy. Anderson in now. There's a good shout for LBW.
Inside edge, I
response
think.
From the umpire. Yeah, there was a bit of a clunk, wasn't there? Well, Anderson's coming together now with Stokes walking towards the slip cord, and Stokes is asking for the review.
Yeah, you got a sense that it's in a little bit of desperation. Jimmy Anderson strolled down straight to the skipper. Austin Chase thinks he's got an inside edge on it. Not so sure.
Well, this is Chase on 47. Listen
That's
to
a fair delivery. Can we have front on spin vision, please?
Michael Goff being the third umpire who's been busy in this match. In the same position.
Yeah, there needs to be no bat involved. Can we just confirm that with Ultra Edge, please, Mark?
This looks close. Very, very close. Only height, I reckon, can save him.
Yeah, keep rolling through all the way to the pad. Okay, no bat involved. Ball tracking when available, please.
Strikes him just above the knee roll, coming back.
No problem. Just wait for ball tracking, Richard.
He's not really very far forward, is he? Just in front of the popping crease.
The
ball
umpire's
tracking
call
coming
in
up
favour
now.
of the batsman.
Impact is in line, and it's hitting the wickets.
There you
You
go.
need to overturn your original decision of not out to out, Richard. I'll let you know when you're on screen. You're on screen now, Richard.
Hitting the top of the stumps. It wasn't far away. It was indeed out. A good enough review to have the not out overturned. So well reviewed by Anderson and by Stokes. An
Yeah.
important wicket, breaking this partnership, and Chase gone for 47.
Yeah, well, I think Ben Stokes was clever there, because Jimmy Anderson is the type of bowler that I don't think he'd gamble on a review. And he thought straight away that there was no inside edge. And if I was a young captain and Jimmy Anderson stormed towards me, I think I'd be going, Jimmy, I'm going with you. I'll review that one. I wouldn't have wanted to be stood out there now, having not reviewed it. So good stuff from the England team. Broston Chase played nicely for his 47. He deserved a half century. He hung in there and battled. Started to play some nice strokes once the second new ball had been taken. But that's crucial for England. They need to get on a roll, the England side. They have to get rid of these last 4 wickets quickly. They need to really to be batting tonight. If the West Indies bat the remaining overs, the lead's going to be a real strong one. It is a strong one now, but you wouldn't want to see the West Indies, as an England perspective, bat the remaining overs tonight.
They'll definitely want to keep that lead into 2 figures. Don't let it stretch into 3. But it's already at 63. And down the pavilion steps and onto this lush green outfield strides the West Indies captain, Jason Holder. 6 for 42 in the first innings. An inspired performance. He's inspired his team. And he now walks out. And tell you what, Michael, he's already stated his desire to follow up his fifer with a Test 100 in England.
Has he?
Yep. He
I wouldn't
absolutely
rule that out.
setting that as a target.
He's a good player. I mean, he's got that double century against England in Barbados. He plays nice and straight. I think on this kind of wicket, you've just got to give yourself a bit of a chance. Dowridge will probably have a bit of a dash. He's just been itching to play a few shots, and you just sense that he might play a few more now.
Holders at the non-striker's end. 2 slips and the gully. Dowrich crouching. And tell you what, that's quite a height difference between Shane Dowrich and Jason Holder as they walked out to the middle. Dowrich went and met him halfway, and they walked out to the pitch together. Here's Archer, though, to Dowrich. He's bounding in, and Dowrich is knocking it into the onside, setting off, and then deciding better of it. Fielder swoops in. Holder, I don't think, was fancying the single at all at that stage.
Dowridge is a typical keeper, isn't he? He's very busy, and he's straight to Jimmy Anderson there, and he's pretended that he's going to go on. Or he's always they're all a little bit like pests, aren't they? They kind of they bubble around keepers when they go out to bat. Very energised.
Yep.
If I was Jason Holder, I'd be backing up.
Starting to now. Archer in. His toes angling out towards point. And no run. I mean, what a performance that was from Holder. Though, an absolute sheer delight. Talismanic sort of performance to get this West Indies tour underway. To say, yeah, we can compete here, and we're putting ourselves in a strong position, and now he comes in the side in a good position. To this pair now, and for Holder, he could take it by the scruff of the neck and stretch this lead. That's what the intention will be. Inside the off stump, steered behind point on that offside. So Holder staying down that non-striker's end, sort of prowling a little bit, just doing some shadow shots down there, wandering up and down a few paces, getting used to the light out there, which is very bright again at the moment. Cloud has sort of been moving across the ground on and off for most of the day. It's bright sunshine, it's good for batting. Archer bounding in now, and Dowrich brings his bat down, deaden the ball into the onside, outside the off stump once again from Archer. Good over from him so far. It's keeping Dowrich pegged back. He's on 42, so he'll be eyeing up a half century. All these little landmarks for the West Indies, all important to them.
I just want to know, with 2 balls to go in the over, is it worth England bringing that square leg up to make sure that Anderson gets at Holder? You won't want Dowrich to just keep the strike.
Get Holder into the action, get him playing. Archer full, gets back onto it and on drive. Dowrich coming back for the second. Well, they take 3. He thought about it, but Holder is happy for the 2 at the moment.
It's that floaty full one, Ali, that I was mentioning. When he gets that floaty full one in there, I think they've struck him at around 83%. It's easy to say the ball a pitch full, but that full length has to be with the ball being hit with a bit of venom. No point in floating it up there. Just struggling to find that natural full length, which is awkward to the batsman.
Can this be a dot ball and have Holder facing Anderson? Archer is in and he's defending. It will be a dot ball, so Holder will be on strike. 90 overs of the innings, the lead 65, 269 for 6 then. Dowrich on 44, the wicket with the dismissal of Roston Chase, LBW Anderson for 47. We're going to have a change over here, Michael, so another few words from you. In fact, let's go to Andy Zaltzman and then Simon Mann's coming in.
Roston Chase's fine dogged innings, 47 from 142 balls with 6 fours, the partnership 81 in 28 overs. Jason Holder, we talked a lot about his outstanding recent bowling. He's also averaged 42.9 in his last 10 tests and taken 14 catches in the field. I've looked at all-rounders who in a 10-match sequence have taken 50 or more wickets at an average under 20 and scored 500 runs at an average over 40, and Holder's only the 5th player in Test history to do that. The Indian spinning all-rounder Vinu Mankad did so in the 50s, Ian Botham in 2 separate sequences in the late 70s and early 80s. Imran Khan did it, and Richard Hadley from 1982 to 84, the great New Zealander. So Jason Holder is the first all-rounder since then to average over 40 with the bat and under 20 with the ball, whilst taking 50 wickets and scoring 500 runs in a 10-match sequence.
Here's Anderson to bowl to Holder, his first ball of the match, and Holder plays nicely towards mid-on.
Can I congratulate you there, Andy, on producing that amount of stats in such a short space of time? That was very good.
Thank you, Michael.
Do you agree, Simon? You're saying nothing. You don't praise many, do you?
That's unfair, Michael.
Well, praise Andy then. That was very good.
That was very good, Andy.
Thank you.
It means a lot coming from you, Simon.
I'd box that one up if I was you, Andy.
That was exceptional, Andy. It's probably the best stat I've ever heard. Anderson to Holder, and Holder plays lovely, fluent off-drive there towards wide mid-off where it's stopped, and there is no run. 269 for 6. We were talking before tea about the speed gun. Dr. Tony Wilson, who has a PhD in physics, has emailed. Unfortunately, I don't really understand the email. It's very thorough, Tony. It's a fantastic effort. But I don't think I'm on your level to understand it. But talking about the speed gun and whether it's measures faster for a fuller ball or a shorter ball. Here is Anderson bowling full to Holder, who plays nicely into the onside, and there's no run. But he does say speed gun works on the Doppler effect, measuring the ball just after release. There's a long email explaining it. It's quite complicated, but I think that the nub of it is that it's best an estimate. The speed gun is at best an estimate, gives us some measure of the horizontal speed.
Where are we going with this?
You'd have to be listening before tea, really, I suppose, on this one. This is Anderson into bowl to Holder, and he goes past the outside edge of Holder's bat there. We're talking about the speed gun and whether it registers, generally speaking, quicker when the ball is fuller than when it's short.
Right.
And apparently the speed gun is a metre from the bowler's point of release. That's the measurement.
Right.
But it always seems to me that when the bowling looks quicker on the speed gun when the ball is fuller than
when the
when it's
Yorker
short.
comes in,
yeah, Yorker, whatever.
But that's not the case. It's just a metre from the hand that's where the registration
Yeah,
comes
but it
from.
might be to do with the angle of delivery.
Oh, we're getting complicated now.
Here is Anderson bowling outside the off stump. We've had Hawkeye on this as well, the people from Hawkeye, and they say I don't have an answer for that question.
So where are we taking this?
Yeah.
So we're basically talking about something very,
Yeah.
very complicated, but we have no answer.
Yeah, it's a bit like
It's all hypotenuses.
flying. Well, it's to do with cosines apparently. Cosines. Anyway, it's a bit like flying in the clouds with a blindfold on. That's where we are at the moment.
It's like having a quiz, the most complicated quiz, but we don't have an answer.
Anderson to Holder, and Holder gets another ball outside the off stump, and there's no run. I think suffice to say, I have investigated it, but I'm not necessarily any clearer.
I think you should be the host of He Wants to Be a Millionaire and just ask questions, but you don't have the answers.
A bit disappointing that for the contestants, wasn't it? Hoping to win serious money.
I'm sorry, we haven't got the answer.
Yeah. You may be right. You may have won 500.
Did you watch the movie about
Yeah,
that?
it was good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
269 for 6, by the way. Yeah, it was fascinating.
Yeah. I mean, how didn't they notice that? It was very clever, wasn't it? The coffin in the audience.
But some people watched it actually, and they thought. Some people, I think, watched the first. There were 2 episodes, weren't they? Some people watched the first episode and thought, "Yeah, definitely did it." And some people watched the second episode and thought, "Not quite so sure."
So we should try it. Try and get on there. Andy, you'll probably get away with being on there because you're really clever. But no, you need to be in the audience because you know all the answers. So we need to send someone on there and you just keep coughing, or we need to come up with something different.
You can't cough these days.
No.
Throw you straight up.
Right, Woods into the attack at 269 for 6. West Indies 65 ahead, and Dowrich and Holder together they produced that remarkable partnership in the last series between these two teams. Wood rushing in to bowl to Dowrich and gets a straight ball, which he plays nicely, firmly, straight to mid-on, and there is no run. If you were on Mastermind, Andy, what would be your second specialist subject? I know what your first specialist subject would be. What was your second specialist? I'm assuming something to do with cricket stats, you know.
Well, I did Celebrity Mastermind.
Oh, did you?
Which is
I'm
a
sorry.
massive stretch of at least one of the 2 terms in the title of the programme. I did Victor Trumper as my specialist
Yeah, well,
subject.
there you are. I imagine it'd be something to do with cricket. I suppose you could just do a different batsman, couldn't you? Or
Yeah, there's plenty more to go.
exactly. Here's Wood bowling outside the off stump. Dowrich pushes that away towards cover, and there's no run. But if you had to do it, if they said you couldn't do cricket because you've done that in the first Celebrity Mastermind, if there was Celebrity Mastermind 2 featuring you, what would be your second specialist subject?
Don't even make me think about that, Simon.
Right, okay.
Something without cricket.
There we are.
Be bad light, wouldn't it, Andy? You'd just...
You were very strong on bad light on the tweet yesterday. I
Yes,
saw that.
it was.
Yeah.
I liked it. What
Yeah.
did you say? Dear cricket.
Yeah.
Yes.
Please, can we stop?
Did cricket respond?
Not officially, no.
There were thousands of likes and retweets,
Yes,
though.
it was a good
Yeah.
letter.
He touched a nerve. Wood bowls, and Dowrich drives off the bottom of the bat there. Goes to cover, and it's picked up by Crawlin. There's no run. For those of you who didn't see it, or not quite sure what we're talking about, and he said, "Dear cricket, please can you stop going off for bad light? P.S. especially when you are trying to attract a new audience to the game."
Yes, and he's spot on. Simon, you may get the email now about the invitation to go on Celebrity Mastermind.
I doubt it.
What's going to be your subject?
Oh.
Bristol? No? Forward defence?
Well, I could do a lot on that, yeah.
Leave?
Here is Wood bowling a nasty bouncer, and Dowrich is on his bottom there after trying to play it or trying to avoid it.
Karate?
Didn't get up very much, and it's taken by Butler. I don't think there are many questions you could ask about a leave and a forward. For defensive cricket, you couldn't get many questions on that, could you? I suppose you could talk about batsmen who've done that over the years.
Definitely could.
Do you think?
You could write books about it.
Of course you can. You'd have 10 questions about Jeffrey. Come on, Simon.
Might
You-
get-
you-
might-
you- football or something?
Might get a bit samey.
I did Premier League. I went on that.
Bristol City 1976 to 1980. How about that? Here's Wood bowling, guided away off a thick outside edge down towards third man.
Just-
This is a rather niche subject, I admit. But,
Yeah, but just a few years, wouldn't it be a bit more than that?
well, they were the first division years. They were the glory years, Michael. A long, long time ago.
Yes. They're coming back, Simon, slowly.
Well, we'll see.
Could do with the manager.
Not quite so convinced. 270 for 6. Dowrich to 45 with that single. Steve Smith emails.
The Steve Smith.
Well, not that one, apparently, it says in brackets. if my memory of A-level physics from nearly 50 years ago is correct, then there is a confusion here between speed and velocity. There's Wood bowling to Holder. Holder has all the time in the world to get in behind that and play defensively towards mid-on. There's no run, it's the end of the over. 270 for 6. Speed can be expressed in distance travelled over time, e.g. miles per hour, with no regard to the direction of travel. Velocity is speed plus a direction component. Are you following this, Michael?
Yeah, I'm listening closely.
Yeah. If the this would be your mastermind subject.
I'm also studying the Ben Stokes is coming on to bowl.
Yeah, it might be better one for that. If the measuring equipment is measuring the speed of the ball in the direction along the pitch from bowler to batsman, the speed and velocity are the same only if the ball travels straight and horizontally. If the bowler released the ball a split second late so that the ball travelled vertically downwards, then its speed through the air would be about the same, but its velocity towards the batsman as measured by the equipment would be 0. I hope that makes sense.
I've always thought Steve Smith was boring.
Oh, poor chap, he must have spent 20 minutes composing that email.
He's just taking the mick.
You've just raised the finger to him.
He's taking the mick.
I think that's classic Steve Smith. It's an unorthodox answer, but a very effective one.
Well, thank you, Steve. I appreciate that answer, even if Michael was not so convinced.
Well, Ben Stokes is back into the attack. He's only bowled 9 overs. We saw the physio earlier on come on with a few large tablets. He's not bowled since then. It's one of the, I guess worries of an all-rounder being a captain, that they underbowl themselves or overbowl themselves. I think it's just getting that balance right, which is difficult.
Here he goes. He's taken 1 for 24. He bowls to Dowrich, and Dowrich edges that relatively controlled edge down through the gully. If there'd been a gully fielder, those that might have carried to him, it might have been on the bounce. It's gone down to third man. Stokes bowling with 2 slips. But a relatively innocuous delivery, but he did find the outside edge. Not much pace off the pitch or off the bat. 271 for 6, lead 67. Where's this game going, Michael? England under pressure here.
Absolutely under pressure. This partnership's a real big one, obviously, for the West Indies, because if it can get to anything near a 50 and it gets the lead over 100.
This is Stokes bowling to Holder. Holder gets his first run there, playing defensively, but the ball goes into a gap on the onside backward square.
There's not many teams, Andy, I'm sure, might take a bit of time, not many teams that have a 100-run lead in the first innings and end up losing test matches. I don't know the answer. It's similar to the questions that you asked. I've got a clue what the answer is, but I'm sure Andy will find out.
Anyway, thank you to Steve, and thank you to Tony, Dr. Tony Wilson, who's emailed.
Yeah, they were good, those.
This is Stokes going into Dowrich. Dowrich blocks that into the offside, and there's no run. Ruth Brooksbank emails, do you think the lack of crowd, and particularly the Barmy Army, seems to be affecting England's performance? As you're all there at the ground, perhaps you could do a quick rendition of some of the Barmy Army songs. I'm sure you've heard them enough times to know all the words by now, but even a couple of choruses of Barmy Army would help.
Well, it certainly helps when you've got support behind you, but I think we can give the England side as many excuses as you want. It's the same for both teams. And the West Indies so far have just been better.
Dowrich waits for Stokes. Stokes banks him. Dowrich ducks.
And let's be honest, over the last few summers in English conditions with the Duke ball, England have had test matches where they perform like this on a regular basis. They generally do lose a test match to whoever they're playing. You only have to go back to the test match against Ireland at Lord's last year. They should have really lost that game. They do have a habit of losing games, and it's generally down to the batting. Just not getting enough runs. 204, all right, wasn't easy, but you can't tell me that 204 was a par.
Stokes to Dowrich. Dowrich heaves this into the leg side. Came off the shot a bit there. Got it out through wide mid-on. Chases on for Wood. He's picked it up now, and they're 3 for 2.
And I think, Simon, and rightfully so, Stuart Broad's come out today and he's done a very strong interview, and I guess that will be a lot of the talking points tomorrow, and it'll be, if Stuart Broad had been bowling, and yes, he could have made a difference, but don't forget how poorly England batted. There was 1 or 2 really good deliveries, but there was a number of quite soft dismissals again. And when the ball moves around and just does a bit, it's been quite a common trend for quite a long time in Test match cricket that the Test match team get bowled out. It will use every excuse in the book to kind of give them a reason for failing.
Stokes bowls full to Dowrich. He clips him through mid-wicket, probably for 2 more. He can have a man back on the deep forward square leg boundary. He's rushing round to pick up Ollie Pope. He sends in the return. So a couple of 2s there. Stokes bowling full and not quite on the pads. The ball before was rather heaved into the leg side. He was looking to hit it through the offside, I think. But the bottom hand came in. Anyway, the Drinks are coming onto the field at 276 for 6, and West Indies 72 ahead, and Dowrich has reached his half century with that second 2. Andy.
Yeah, I was going to say, reached his half century off 91 balls with 7 fours. It's his 12th score of 50 or more in Test cricket. He has 300s amongst that, and he has more than doubled his tally from the 2017 series in this country when he made 24 runs in 6 innings with a highest score of 14 and an average of 4.8. So superb innings from Dowrich today.
Well, I think he's played with tremendous intent from the minute that he walked out there. Dominic Best had just got Blackwood and he danced down and whacked him over the top. He pulled him for a boundary, whacked him over mid-off, and Best was taken out of the attack. And then he hit a few off the seamers and been very busy and active. I think he probably assessed the situation, that there's that spell after lunch when Anderson and Best really pinned back the West Indians, that he went out there and said, no, I'm going to have to take a bit of a calculated gamble. And it's paid off for him. He probably wanted to pass his last series here quickly as well. That was probably his goal.
He had the confidence of that 100 in the Caribbean the last time England played.
Wasn't it? Just been on the telly actually, the Holder Dowrich partnership launching Adil Rashid into the stands. Moeen Ali, Jason Holder was brutal.
How many do they put on in that partnership? They're out there at the moment, just taking a drink. 20 to past 5. Play can go on until 7 o'clock tonight. Certainly batted all day without losing a wicket before the declaration came. We mentioned it earlier, that the remarkable contrast between the first day where a heap of wickets fell and the second day where not a single wicket fell for West Indies. 276 for 6 at the break. England made the breakthrough with the new ball. Now Austin Chase, LBW to James Anderson. I've had this thing going with Cookie, who's coming in, Mr. Cook, about what's your immediate reaction to the LBW shout. And I have to say, Alistair, as he's just putting his headphones on, I did say that is absolutely plum. But I'll get a few wrong, doubtless, in this game as well. But it just looked out to me. It sort of felt like a bit like an umpire just down on confidence a bit after some of the things that happened earlier in the game, perhaps.
Umpire man, another on right, he's ticking himself off. What
did you think when you were on TV at the time?
I was on TV, and on the coming through the microphones were the 2 noises, and that's what's, without a doubt, I think put umpire Illingworth off. I think that was an inside edge, but you're absolutely right. It's probably when you get a couple of decisions wrong, you start doubting yourself, and probably went on the air of caution there. And I think you could actually see in the huddle that the England boys thought it's going to be umpire's call on height. Yeah. You saw Jimmy thinking that's going to be out. You could almost lip reading him say that, but it was hammering into the top of middle stump. But there's the 2 noises without a doubt, because it was straight. It was absolutely straight. It wasn't going to hit him outside the line. It was the height and whether he'd hit it, but he hadn't hit it. And it was well bowled from Jimmy. He is absolutely relentlessly good.
One last email on speed gun. Stephen Wolverhampton, he said a full ball appears quicker than a short one, because it is. It reaches the batsman faster. A Yorker goes in a straight line. A short ball bounces, therefore goes down and back up, travelling a longer distance with the bounce, also usually slowing the ball by the wicket absorbing its energy. Well, the only point about that, Steve, and that was, I think, the point I was trying to make before tea, but the point is it's only measured 1 metre. The speed gun is only measured 1 metre out of the bowler's hand, so it's point of release and then 1 metre. So, but I mean, again, the angle, how you measure it.
You're obsessed with this angle, aren't you?
Well, we've been on this in the last 20 minutes or so. So you've joined this sort of subsequent conversation quite late, but we've had a PhD physicist on, We've had someone who's an expert in physics 50 years on as well
Okay.
to discuss it. But
You'll have to fill me in off air. We don't
well, I think we probably should draw a line
Okay.
under it because it's.
Are you
it's-
admitting you were wrong? That
Well,
was-
no, it's just quite complicated. That's all.
Okay.
It's I think sort of right, but hard to explain quite why.
I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. You've just drug out someone who's going to use really long words, which I'm not going to understand, to try and prove your argument.
You're quite tenacious, aren't you? Right, Isha's coming in. Play's about to resume after the drinks break. Let me just do this one ball, Isha, because you'll get yourself sorted out. Here is Wood bowling to Holder. Hits the ball hard into the surface. It bounces over Wood's head, goes up towards the straight long off boundary. 2 fielders are after it. Holder's back for 2. He's looking for 3. He's on his way now, and they are back for 3 runs.
Yeah, lovely shot there. Lovely shot. Straight drive, as Simon said, hit into the pitch. So it bounced really high. And I don't think either mid-on and mid-off, which was Joffer at mid-off and Jimmy Anderson mid-on, could really pick it up. And I thought Mark Wood was going to get it, but it kind of skipped on. Nicely balanced from Jason Holder there. And yeah, he hasn't had much form in the inter-squad matches, but actually you wouldn't know that. He's looked good in his first few balls.
Here comes Mark Wood steaming in, bowls. Dowrich plays it out to third man. Off the front foot, just opens the face. Moves to 51, 280 for 6, a lead of 76. Bright sunshine here at the Ageas Bowl. A few clouds in the distance, but it's been a lovely day here. Much better than the first 2 days anyway, where it was completely grey skies up above as Jason Holder hovers above the stumps.
Hovers above the stumps.
Yes.
He's floating.
Well, certainly in front of Joss Butler, from how I see it, is Wood bowl, struck on the pad, falls out onto the leg side, given not out.
I think I might just have been sliding down the leg side. Mark Wood didn't really appeal.
Man going back out to the deep square boundary. So 2 men back on the leg side. He's got that mid-on, mid-off cover, backward point, 2 slips in a gully for Jason Holder, who sets himself up once more. A couple of bat taps before it's high in the air, back and across, and allows it to pass outside the off stump from Mark Wood, bowling at 85 miles an hour, that delivery.
We had a question about the partnership between these two in the test in Barbados at the start of last year, the first test of the series. They had a 295 undefeated in just 68 overs in West Indies' second innings. Holder making 202 not out from just 229 balls, and Dowrich 116 not out.
Wood turns at the top of his mark, in he comes then, arms pumping. Leaves one outside the off stump, a back of a length delivery to Jason Holder, who just drops his hands as Mark Wood falls again.
He must have either Teflon hands or just have the worst grass burns ever. Because his hands must have it and his knees must get it, because he ends up on all fours, I would say, almost once and over.
Just seen an image of Jason Holder's bat
Well, he knows it's his.
with his name written on the bottom of it. As Wood comes racing in once more towards us, crouches his Holder and turns that over to the leg side, out to deep square. A good length delivery on about leg stump as he comes through for a single. Holder to 5. And at the end of the over, it's 281 for 6 with a lead of 77. Such a drastic difference in height between Holder and Shane Dowrich as they come together now. Both using the same sponsored bats.
Do you reckon their bats are the same size?
No, I don't think so.
It might not be in weight, but it might have sort of different size handles. But
Yeah. One with a short handle.
yeah, but
and the other with a long.
I've always used short handle. Like, but I suppose.
What weight bat did you use?
Well, about 2.8, 2.9, 2.10, just depending on basically the wood, really.
As Stokes resumes his battle with Holder, who's pulling a short ball out to deep square, and it's taken by Jofra Archer, running around from fine leg to his left. Well, this is a fantastic battle that we're witnessing here in this series. Holder removing Stokes in the first innings, and Stokes now getting his opposite number.
It's a good short ball from Stokes. He took it on, kind of rushed him a little bit. No, that's me. It seemed to take forever to get to Jofra Archer with no crowd noise, nothing. You know, it's hard to pick up from here. We're looking into the sun. I was just watching Jofra run round. I was like, when's that ball going to get to it? But he took a comfortable catch in the end. He got there quickly. He ended up on all fours as he took it. But Jason Holder's poor run of form so far on his tour. I put the mockers on him. I was saying he actually looked pretty good in that small innings, but struggling to buy a run. It goes for 5.
281 for 7 then as he walks off now very slowly. He's so disappointed in himself here, Jason Holder. Livid, absolutely livid, as he trots up the stairs 2 at a time, and his head hanging low as well as Stokes. He brought himself on just a few overs ago. Has found another wicket in this session. Slowly chipping away England. Lead of 77. It's just brought them back in, hasn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, I think England will take, I think probably both sides will take a lead of 100. I know it sounds silly. I think West Indies would be happy with a 100-run lead. They'd obviously liked more, but I think England, from the situation they've been in all day, just not quite getting those couple of wickets quickly, you know, will probably take a lead of 100. I mean, they're going to have to bat very well in the third innings, have to kind of bat better. They've got a little bit of a chance here. I'm a little bit surprised that Joseph's ahead of Kemar Roach, because Kemar Roach is a very nuggety batter. He hangs in there a lot, and seeing Joseph's stats on the screen coming up, I think he averaged 5.6 now. Unless they're going for potential, I'd say that Kemar Roach could have kept Dorridge company for a bit longer, but I'll probably be proved wrong now.
So batsman crossed. Joseph standing with one hand on his hip at the non-striker's end as Stokes runs away from us. He bowls to Dowrich, who leaves. A ball going down the leg stump off a good length through to Jos Buttler. Feel the warmth in the commentary box.
For about the first time.
Yeah.
Just leant forward. I stupidly left my sunglasses in the room. I know it's that important. It's only just round the corner. But it's quite bright, isn't it? It's quite bright the first time. It's a bit strange, and I haven't done much TV work, and then like a minute ago both of you are on the TV doing the commentary, now straight on here, and a little bit slightly different.
Shadow following Stokes. He bowls a short ball to Dowrich, who again just capably ducks underneath that one. While he has looked uncomfortable at times, he's been happy to duck when the short ball has been bowled, Dowrich, and you know, the West Indies will be delighted that he's just still there. So he's worked out a way of being able to handle it.
He's definitely not taking it on. He's said, I'm not going to play the hook or the pull. I've gone underneath a couple of times. He's been on his backside, but he's still surviving.
Dowrich this time looks uncomfortable with the ball angled in at his armpit as it goes through to Jos Buttler. And at one point I thought he might have caught something on it, so that's probably the most uncomfortable he's looked.
Yeah, he didn't go underneath that at all, did he? He tried to ride that one, and he got his hands up above his, you know, covering his face, almost kind of starfish way down the leg side. Just for a second Ben Stokes was interested, thinking that there was no bit of a glove, but there wasn't any noise.
Quick shuffle from Stokes before he's off again past the umpire. Again short to Dowrich, who's up on his toes and looking to play it out to fine leg. Deep square, cuts off the ball as Jofra manages to retrieve it eventually, and they pick up a single. So the score now 282 for 7, the West Indies, and Dowrich to 52. So after you said that he wasn't playing it, he is now looking to play the short ball.
Well, he then he rode that one, didn't he? Like, he didn't try and play a hook.
No, that's true.
Just try to ride the bounce. And Ben Stokes a little bit unusually bowling in his short sleeve jumper.
He is, yeah.
We were just saying how warm it was in here.
The 2 men out on the leg side boundary, and just asking that man at deep square to come in now. Stokes towards the square leg umpire to his left as he runs in now towards Alzari Joseph facing his first delivery. Joseph forward press, struck on the pad, they go up, given not out. It's gone down to the fine leg boundary, and that will be leg byes. Hands on head for Stokes, who grimaces now on his hips as he has a quick chat to Joss Butler. 2 more seconds left on the DRS timer, and he's decided not to review. England with 2 more reviews left. He's got his hand on his face now. He must have thought it was close, but not close enough to review that decision. Did come across Alzari Joseph as we look at the replay, but probably just going down leg, given not out, so it might have been umpire's call at best.
Yeah, I think at best that one. I think he's just showing the frustration because he beat Joseph for pace, and if he'd just been a little bit straighter, he felt like he had a golden opportunity first ball. A little bit straighter might have been close, but it just a little bit the wrong side of the ball, slid down the leg side.
Andrew?
Looking at only my mother calls me Andrew.
I know. As soon as I said it, I saw the smile, and I thought, oh no. As Wood, we'll get back to you, Andy, in just a second.
Straight back to Andy.
Oh, that is a vicious delivery to Dowrich.
Looking at Alzari Joseph's batting, in his first 14 innings in Test cricket, he was out in single figures. He did thrash a rapid 30-odd in the final innings of the last series between these two. But looking at his first-class stats, until about 3 games ago, he was averaging under 8, and then he went on a run of 35 not out and 47 not out against Trinidad and Tobago, 64 not out against the Windward Islands, and 89 against Jamaica. 235 runs in between dismissals recently in the tournament earlier this year. So he has got a bit of recent form in first class.
Thanks, Andy. As Wood bowls again, short ball to Dowrich, who's on his toes and playing that to the offside. No run. The ball before, he just about managed to get out of the way. Again, jumping up, bat raised in front of him, and then managed to almost manoeuvre his head and body out of the way of the ball as it went through to Butler. So challenging him at this stage, Mark Wood. 2 men back in the deep on the leg side. He's bowled, he's into his 19th over, Mark Wood. He's bowled with lots of pace and aggression. Still wicketless in this innings. As he comes in again now towards us, he bowls Dowrich, this time again on his toes, but it's stayed incredibly low. It's hit the bottom part of the bat as he pats it back to Mark Wood.
He's expecting that to whistle through, kind of jumping back to play the back foot shot. A little bit Phil Tufnell-esque, but this time in line. But it hit the bottom of his bat, jumping. Oh, sorry, Tuff has just walked in behind. Must have felt his presence. Talking about his batting, I had to apologise to Darrow to compare his batting to Phil Tufnell.
Dowrich crouches and then jumps up again, this time to ride a ball down to fine leg. Another back of a length delivery from Wood. The throw now comes in as they take the 1. So Dowrich to 53. He's faced 100 deliveries now in this innings, and the West Indies 287 for 7. That lead extending to 83 with Joseph now on strike. He's got 2 more balls left of this over as deep square comes back in.
What's he going to do? Is he going to go full or short?
He's going full.
Toes. He's going for toes.
He's going toes. 2 slips in a gully. Just asking his square leg to go into leg gully. So maybe it will be at his hip, or it might be the bluff. It might be the bluff.
Another one going in. Another one coming extra cover. Going across to square leg. Is that Zach Crawley?
Yeah, Zach Crawley with sunglasses on his cap. In close as Wood bowls full as we anticipated. And he manages to keep it out just about.
So if you were batting there, would you have been lunging forward? going for the cover drive, thinking he's going to go forward. You don't put a gully in and
definitely not. I'm thinking about the short ball. I'm thinking about the short ball, being prepared for that, and then knowing that I'm going to have to stick my bat down because he will bowl the Yorker. But he managed to do it.
Just got it out, dug it out.
Bat high from Joseph as Wood bowls again full, and he's driven him down the ground for 4. Straight back past Mark Wood in the air. And I guess that's the problem. If you know that it's going to be full, you're ready for it. And he picks up his first boundary, does Joseph, as the score moves to 291 for 7.
Lovely pose afterwards as well.
Yeah.
That was holding the shot. It was an uppish drive. It was like over the bowler's head, really. It's a cracking shot. But that was, you're right, he gambled there. I think if Mark Wood had bowled short, he would have been in a little bit of trouble, but he gambled it was going to be full, and you could just see Mark Wood's face as if he just knew he got that decision wrong. Should have gone short. It's easy to say from up here, isn't it?
Look back Joseph's recent first-class performances. At 235 runs he got in between dismissals off just 240 balls with 14 sixes. So if he does stay in, it could be spectacular.
Stokes to Dowrich, again another short ball that loses pace as it goes through to Jos Buttler. Dowrich ducking underneath it again. There's a man out at third man, very wide. There's no point. And a cover mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket. Deep square, and far leg on the boundary with 2 slips in play for Stokes. There's a quick chat to his Durham teammate Mark Wood at mid-on before turning and shadow chasing him. He approaches the crease, another short ball, kind of ducks and dips into the ball. Dowrich is he manages to crouch underneath another one. It does look awkward, doesn't it?
It does. It is awkward, but he's hanging in there and doubled his tally from his last tour here. He scored, is it 24 runs he scored in his last tour?
Averaging 4, I think it was, as Stokes again to Dowrich. This time plays one.
No.
And second slip running around to collect the ball as they decide to not take the single.
You're looking on the screen here, there's the good old cameraman's dream, isn't it, when you've got the head coach and the head selector deep in conversation. They could be chatting about anything about food or anything, but it looks like they're in a deep and meaningful.
Smith with his trademark glasses on as Dowrich completely misses a ball outside the off stump. He was looking to punch it off the back foot and just died, didn't it, as it hit the pitch. Length ball. So that uneven bounce that we've seen throughout this test match is presenting itself once again.
Hasn't gone up as much today as it. The old one, if anything, just kept a little bit low. But you're right, Ed Smith seems to only have one pair of sunglasses for the last 15 years.
Stokes bowls back of a length this time, and Dowrich playing it to the offside.
Struggling with his toes here, isn't he?
I did think he looked to hobble after that delivery, and he is hobbling back now.
It could just be as simple as his big toe slamming against his boot or something. It's just, might tape his toes up and something's just not quite right. He's still moving okay, isn't he? I think it must hurt as he slams that front foot into this pretty hard square. As he calls up deep square leg, and that kind of wideish third man coming to point and square leg, trying to keep Dowrich on strike.
So we can have another go at Alzari Joseph as Stokes bowls to Dowrich, who plays that to mid-off, and he gets what he wants. Stokes at the end of the over. It's 291 for 7, a lead of 87. Dowrich on 53, Joseph on 4. A few words from you, Alistair, and then it will be Jonathan Agnew.
Yeah, Ben Stokes is still limping there, going back to his place at second slip. Probably the man with the highest pain threshold I know, actually, so it must be hurting if he's limping. I remember in that first tour of Australia he went on in 2013, 13. He didn't have great bowling boots in there, and he actually got to a stage where he was scraping his toe pretty much flesh onto the pitch, and it ended up being bone on the pitch, but he still played every game as if it was never matter. I don't know how he did that. He must be hurting if he's limping. Agus?
Indeed, he's not one to show much pain, is he? 291 for 7, then the lead 87. Very, very valuable runs these for West Indies. Darrich on 53. We've got Wood coming in now and hurling a bouncer down at Joseph. Who gets underneath that, through it goes. And Wood's worked up a good pace, hasn't got a wicket to show for it yet. No wicket for 65.
You'd say he's probably bowled better than those figures.
I think he has. Yeah.
And kept his pace up during the day. He was quick yesterday, but actually all day he's been close to that 90 miles an hour.
Try and nip in with a couple in the tail. He's got a leg slip. Square legs quite close as well. I think Joseph knows he's going to get a few up under his armpit. Wood again bowls to him. That's short, and he's pulled that. And it's down to third man. How did it get down there? The Wood can't believe it either. He's on his haunches there, saying, how on earth did that happen? Short ball, and Joseph went for the pull shot, and Wood is still down there on his haunches, saying, what on earth happened there? You don't see that very often. A pull shot. I was looking instinctively out towards mid-wicket. I assume that was where it had gone, but somehow it's gone. Well, completely the other direction.
Because it was like a proper clunk off the bat, wasn't it? It wasn't like an edge. It was, but then just in that replay, he did almost like twist to try and play an uppercut. Well, I think I might be being a bit kind to him, but he just tried to pull. I think this is the result of, if you're going to straight drive Mark Wood over his head for 4, the next over, you're going to cop a few.
I think you are, and the field is set for that. 293 for 7, the lead 89. Wood again rushes in, bowls, and very well played actually by the number 9, getting behind that, playing it into the offside and scampering a single. Nothing wrong with that at all. 294 for 7, the lead 90.
If the tail wags here, it will make a huge difference to West Indies. If England could go bang, 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 lead of 100, okay, obviously West Indies are ahead of the game, but England can fight back. But get 150, 160 lead, slog a few. That's a big lead, isn't it, on the wicket like this?
It is. Looking at Stokes there with that foot. I wonder if they're new boots or something that he hasn't had a chance to break in much. In comes Wood and he bowls, and that's very full. That inside edge that nearly went into the stumps. Darrich picks up another single to go to 54, and Wood again ruining his luck. His hands on his knees this time, and both the slip fields holding their heads in their hands. 295 for 7, but that Stokes foot thing is easily a sign of someone who hasn't bowled very much, isn't it? It gets a bit of rubbing or blisters or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can really talk about test bowling, test averages, and bowling boots, to be honest with you. But
well, they're different. They're very different beasts to what they used to be. I'm not sure how much breaking in they need these days. But
were you those big leather ankle boots?
Oh yeah.
One pair for the whole season?
Oh, 3 years. That's all we could afford. Here's Wood. Attacking field again, bowls another bouncer. Joseph sways out of the way. It's gutsy stuff from number 9. He's not being bombarded and forced away from the stumps or anything. He's getting stuck in. He's supporting Darrich, who's a very valuable 54. The little lightweight things is what I was watching Sam Curran the other day. I mean, basically they're brand new. He's pulled them on and.
Was it Mason's?
Mason, yes. Used to draw around your foot with a piece of. You put 2 pairs of socks on and get a felt tip pen and a bit of paper. It was not scientific. And just draw around your foot and send them off. And about 6 weeks later, this box would arrive. There's Wood, and again, well played by Joseph, getting behind that, playing it away up to mid-off. It's quite deep, so he's able to get a single. And the lead is 92, 296 for 7. Joseph has 8. Darrich has 54. I was saying the other day, I think it would come in brown paper. And you knew what they were, obviously. And you just open it up, and the smell, not that brown. Oh, Michael Vaughan's going to be brown paper.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got Mr. Vaughan, Marmite to your door. We hope you have a great stay with us. Why did it come to your door? You don't even like Marmite. Oh, and he spelt your name wrong. However, we have a bag of Marmite sachets. Thank you, Michael, very much indeed. I shall, because you don't like Marmite, do you? You're not a Marmite fan. Yeah, lovely.
Do you like Marmite?
Yeah.
Bovril?
No.
Oh, I love Bovril.
They were saying yesterday, no Marmite, but then at breakfast this morning, he couldn't move for Marmite, and indeed at lunchtime as well.
I might try this. Oh, God, I'd love a ribeye steak.
Well,
will that happen?
I don't think it'll happen, if I'm honest with you. Now, we're having some boot changing going on there. This is what Stokes is up to. I think that probably wasn't it. He's just rubbed and skinned his toe, something like that. It's a blister. It's hard work bowling fast, Alistair.
Agree. Test bowling average of 7. Bowling C. It's very hard work.
That wicket was, I have to be honest, one of the lowest points in cricket I can remember. To see you running in, doing that dear old Bob Willis impersonation. Who was it you strangled down the leg side?
Played over 80 Test matches for India.
Yeah.
Indian legend, I'll probably describe him.
I'm not sure he's got over it either. Which one was it?
Well, he spent the rest of his career getting me out. So Ishant Sharma.
Fair enough.
There's a fair bit of payback.
I do remember it. It was a horrible moment.
Thanks, Eggers.
Yes. Alan Lamb actually got a test wicket with doing a Bob Willis impersonation as well. He ran from the boundary in Calcutta.
Yeah. That's my regret. I didn't come back
all
further,
the way. He should have gone further.
Should have gone whole hog.
He rather crept in. Let's see how Stokes gets on. He's changed his boot and he bowls a ball. Oh, it's got an edge. It's just flown away for 4. That's not going to do his humour any good at all. That's got a catchable height straight to where a third slip would have been standing, but there's no one there.
Well, they've fiddled with third slip and gully and fourth slip, haven't they, all day? And then the last, I was going to say half an hour or so, they've just had the 2 slips, and you often wonder, don't you, with the number 9 in, whether you need that extra cover. But then you're then balancing out those last couple of balls in the last over. Woody just knocked down for an easy single, so you couldn't keep him on strike. So that would be the balancing act.
It depends what length you're going to bowl at him, I suppose.
Yeah.
If you can bowl that length, you might have a slip in. 300 up. The lead is 96. And Stokes is labouring in again. He's bowling to Joseph, the number 9. He gets beautifully behind that and he's found the gap in the offside. Picks up certainly
2.
1. They'll get 2 there. Scampering back. 99 is the lead.
300 came up with that 4 by Joseph, and we've seen fluctuations in this innings in terms of scoring, but their hundreds have been scored at almost identical rates. They reached 100 from 33 overs. The next 100 runs to take them to 200 took 32.5 overs, and the last 100 32.2 overs.
Thanks, Andy. Yes, correction. The lead is 98, actually. 302 for 7. Stokes still wearing his sleeveless sweater. Moves in, bowls, and... oh, no, he's done it again. Oh, dear. Overslip, really, this time. But again, it's that length, a bit of bounce at the tail ender, and he's tried to force it away and found the edge. And it's flown through the slips and down for 4 more. And that is the 100 lead now, 102. And West Indies are 306 for 7. Stokes is going to be fuming, I think. But he's in charge, he's setting the field. Goodbye to Alistair. I've tried to get 11 men up for your team tomorrow, by the way. I put a plea out for if there's anyone who wants to play for the Bedfordshire Farmers tomorrow. In goes Stokes over the wicket. Bowls. Oh, he's bowled him. Gone straight through. He's just missed a straight ball. He'd played so well up to then. And Joseph can't quite believe it. And the wicket falls to absolute silence. And it's 306 for 8. The lead 102. He played very well there. He's supported Darich. And then just missed a straight ball. Carlos.
He backs himself as a batter, Alzari.
Yeah.
He'd have been proud of his little cameo.
He played well.
Yeah, disappointed to miss that one.
Yeah, I suspect he's walking off just wondering why he did miss it. But anyway, England won't care. He's out for 18. A very useful 18 runs they are as well. And what a lead now, 102. No one really knows how this pitch is going to play. We know the weather is going to be good for the next couple of days. But England have some batting to do, aren't they?
Yeah, so much uncertainty. We've seen the inconsistency in Bunks, but actually these last couple of sessions have been very, very good. Bunks has almost been the best it's been throughout the whole test. So will it deteriorate, and how much will it deteriorate? And what is a good score? What is a good lead? How much is a good total to give West Indies to chase?
Kimo Roach coming out. He can hang around as well. He's So no mug with the bat. He might not play many shots. He'll probably just try and keep Daric company. That, by the way, was Ben Stokes' 150th Test wicket. So well done him. I'm not sure he was celebrating particularly at the moment, but it's a landmark anyway in his career. As Kemar Roach arrives, he's deep in conversation with Shane Daric, who I suspect will be hoping that Roach hangs around for a while, because he'll know pretty well if the Archangel comes out at number 11, he's got no chance of getting 100.
Yeah, I think this is his last hope, with all due respect to Shannon.
I think so.
It's only a matter of time when he gets to the crease.
So, can England semi-wrap it up by getting Kemar Roach out? 3 slips now. Stokes on his way, bowls to him. So he just took the bat out of the way of that, allowing it to pass by outside the off stump. And Stokes is still hobbling a bit. I think he just would have skinned it with some new boots, skinned his toe.
The good thing about Kemar is you know what you'll get from him. There won't be much addition to the score, but he's very resilient, has a good defence, very solid.
Seeing some figures here. Stokes is the second fastest to 4,000 runs and 150 wickets. Gareth Sobers beating him to that, and there's a bounce that goes skimming over Roach's helmet and was taken by Butler leaping up high. And it's the end of a wicket taking over for Stokes, but he's looking pretty grim-faced, if we're honest, because he knows that England have got a real battle coming on here. Commentary continues on 5 Live Sports Extra, and of course via the BBC Sport website and app, and wherever you're listening to us around the world. But for Radio 4 long-wave listeners, here comes the shipping forecast. Have you savoured the shipping forecast yet, Carlos?
I have not.
No.
TMS has been very educational for me.
Yeah, well,
learned about pigeons. Left with some research on Uncle Marshall's history.
Yeah.
And the shipping forecast.
We got the ground, didn't we? I was wrong with Wanderers. In comes Wood then tearing in, he bowls, and it's played off the back foot by Daric along the ground to it was Holders Hill I was looking for, wasn't
Holders Hill,
that
yeah.
was what I was looking for.
And there's so many good cricketers that came from in and around that region. Very competitive place. I think if you put village versus village all over the world, Holders Hill will come very, very close to the top. Yeah, they would.
I'll offer you Liberta in Antigua. They're pretty keen, and that was where Curtly Ambrose
2 or 3 of the
from.
Knights have come from that town. I think Alzari's from there as well.
Is he from Liberta?
I think he plays for them at least.
Okay. It's a lovely ground. Beautiful ground. 306 for 8. Then comes Wood. Bowls, and that's pushed away into the offside. Out towards cover it goes. I'm pretty sure, if I say Hungry Walsh to you...
No idea.
Do you remember Hungry Walsh?
No.
Vaughan Walsh? Ooh. He was quick. He was seriously quick. He was quite small.
Antiguan?
Yeah. Not a tall man at all, but ferociously fast. He played some club cricket in Leicestershire, and a friend of mine, Martin Johnson, who a lovely writer, of course, for many years, was sitting there. There was a ground that had a sort of pub on it, and I think Martin was sitting outside watching this game going on. It was the Leicester Nomads playing against somebody, and he watched this chap tearing in and bowling at the speed of light.
Would he be same era as Aldine Baptiste?
Bit later. A little bit later. 306 for 8. Here's Wood bowling, and Daric plays and misses at that, looking to run the ball away for runs into the offside. But Martin watched this chap tearing in, and their wickets were just exploding everywhere. They were 9 down, and the white towel was thrown over the rope. The number 11 didn't go in. So Hungry Walsh is a great character. Vast amounts of dreadlocks gathered up, sort of behind.
Good off the field as well?
Yes, I think so. But I went on a tour to Antigua. We went to Liberta. It was a benefit trip for Nigel Bryars, actually, the old Leicestershire captain. And we arrived, and he said, I think you could open the batting today. And there's Wood bowling, and that's turned away out towards mid-wicket, and there's no run. I said, that's very kind. It's a friendly situation. So I went out and had a look at the pitch. There were no sight screens or anything. Very green all around. And suddenly my attention was drawn to a sort of a sound of a motorbike coming up. And sort of lots of smoke coming out the back of him, sort of pop, 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 pop. And I looked over, to my horror, I realised instantly it was Hungary. And so I'm afraid I had to quickly announce that I was going down the order. There's no way I was going to face him. No sight screens or anything else. He tore in. It didn't matter. They was club cricketers. These. He was lethal. Here's another one. Run away down to second slip. As our long wave listeners rejoin, it's 306 for 8. The lead is 102. What about John the Dentist, Maynard?
Ooh, I've heard about him.
Come across the Dentist?
I haven't played against him, but I've heard of him.
Yes.
Good club cricket stories. Sylvester Clarke.
Oh.
Tearing in one of the lower leagues in Barbados, just taking it easy. And one of the spectators got him riled up and said he was past his best.
Oh, no.
And he proceeded to break 2 or 3 arms, and there was some furniture left.
Oh, but Sylvester was... He was lethal, especially for us lower order people. This is full driven, and Archer can't get there. He's got to chase it, though, because it hasn't come out of the middle of the bat. He's running down towards the long off boundary, and they'll come back for 3 as Archer just gets there in time now. They could almost get 4, actually. He's overrun the ball, but 3 it is. As Daric will keep the strike, which is not what England would have wanted at all. And the lead moves up to 105. Yes, the Dentist, who's called the Dentist for his reputation of knocking batsmen's teeth out. He was Antiguan, wasn't he? Was he Antiguan? Was he from St Kitts? Nevis, yes.
So there was the Stanford T20.
Yes.
And I think he played in one of the very first years. I stand corrected. And in a practice game, I think he hit one of the Barbadian boys in the mouth.
That's where he got the name.
True to his name, isn't it?
John the Dentist Maynard, who often listens to us. So if you are listening, John, I hope all is well with you. It's a lovely Nevis, beautiful island as well.
I love it. I played for St Kitts and Nevis Patriots for the past 5 years in CPL.
Isn't it lovely?
It feels like a second home, man. So beautiful.
Yeah.
People are so welcoming. And obviously the ground is nice and small. Not good for your figures, but good for your sixes. Good for stroke play.
Yeah, I remember the old ground with the prison. The wall of the prison was the sight screen at the far end. So it's been rebuilt a bit now.
Yeah, and I'd been on the 13 tour. We stayed at the Girl Guides and walked cricket every day. It's kind of strange to be back and see it built up.
Yeah, it is. Stokes continues, and this is outside the off stump. Oh, he's got it away down there again. This time as Daric is going to get another boundary through third man. So that's 3 fours Stokes has conceded in that area in the last 3 overs. And that was very neatly controlled, actually, by Daric, who's so well set now.
Yeah, obviously an edge, but very well controlled. Bottom hand relaxed, allowing the ball to drop into the ground.
Yeah.
I'm happy he got 7 in the last couple of balls. He lost a bit of impetus with Wood and Stokes going short at him. Hopefully he can find some rhythm back.
Still the deep square leg out there. Stokes runs in, bowls to him down the leg side. He tries to flick it. Is he caught behind? There's an appeal. He's walking off. Well, fair play to Shane Daric. He just simply walked off there as he's been caught down the leg side by Jos Buttler. It's another wicket for Stokes. He's got his hands on his knees. He's worked hard.
Such an honest man, though, Rich. In the time when technology and umpires are lambasted, there he is, just walking. I've hit it, I'll walk.
Yeah, nice to see. And he had his back turned. He just simply walked off. So the moment has arrived for Shannon Gabriel, who's been somewhat eccentric at the crease. We always look forward to him coming out. Never quite know what to expect. It'll probably involve a few swipes. But anyway, he's coming out. Carlos, some thoughts from you, and Alison Mitchell is going to come in here. Not sure for how long he'll hold you up, Alison, but anyway, it's Shannon Gabriel, Alison Mitchell and Carlos Brathwaite.
I'm not sure how much Shannon can add, to be honest. The boys will be putting the clothes on, getting ready to go out and bowl again. Not much expected from him with the bat. I think the dressing room will just be happy that he isn't hit or injured, and that he can add some value with the ball to defend his 109 lead thus far.
I'm looking forward to seeing the value he adds with the bat. And it could be entertaining if he has a go.
Entertaining / comical, which one will it be?
Well, I imagine if he gets hold of one, the ball will travel.
He puts everything into his swings, I can guarantee you that. And there'll be a few laughs between him and Roach. They're both good mates, and you can see a bit of smiles. He knows what's coming.
100 Sorry, Andy, it's gone off the screen. The lead, 109. 109, the lead.
Dowrich 61 from 115 balls with 8 fours.
Thank you. 313 for 9 then. Ben Stokes has the ball in his hand. He's got 3 wickets to his name. He's got an uncomfortable left big toe, though, as well, which is causing him some pain. But it is Gabriel on strike then. So Stokes in and bowls a ball on a length. And it's an inside edge which squirts away towards square leg. Not the most convincing of shot, not the most amount of footwork there from Gabriel.
Trust me, you take that. The boys in the dressing room will be very happy. 1 ball gone. 3 left in this over.
But they're going to be very happy with the position, aren't they? 100-run lead.
Yeah, they'll be delighted. We spoke about, it being a difficult pitch to get in and go big. And consistent contribution throughout the order.
Gabriel bends his knees and waits for Stokes' bowling full. Oh, he's lofted this down the ground for 4 over mid-on. What a glorious stroke. And even Ben Stokes is smiling.
You said it'd be exciting, Ali. Oh, it is a proper shot. It is a proper shot. Surprising, yes. Very impressed. He tried his best to hold his shape, the back kind of flirting away. It ended up in the right position, and a good result for the West Indies.
He got there for the photographers, didn't he? Once he was through the stroke.
Everyone enjoyed that.
Well, Mark Wood's there at mid-on. It was sailed high over his head. Here's Stokes in again. How does he come back? Down the leg side. It's the back of the length and allowed to go by. Gabriel doesn't chase it, but he rehearses the stroke and notes that there's a square leg in place. There's a fine leg back on the boundary. There's 3 men behind him waiting for a catch if an edge is taken, an outside edge. There's a backward point, short third man more like, and then extra cover mid-off, mid-on, and square leg. So Gabriel, tall man, quite a hulk of a figure, in front of the stumps now, waiting for Stokes, who's up past the umpire. Short ball, he ducks underneath it, isn't tempted, lets it go through. And he's played out those 3 deliveries in good fashion, including one club down the ground.
I'm holding my breath, Ali. Not only that he keeps his wicket, but he doesn't lose a bone or something and be hit. But funny enough, he talks more when he's batting than when he's bowling. So I can imagine there was a bit of banter and a bit of chirp from him after that lofted drive over mid-on.
What shot that was.
Well, potentially a very exciting stat, Ali, if Stokes can pick up the last wicket and take a 5. It will be only the 3rd test in the history of Test cricket in which both captains have taken a 5-er. Most recently, Jason Holder and Shakib Al Hassan of Bangladesh both did so in a test in Jamaica in 2018. The only previous instance was when Pakistan's Fazal Mahmood and Richie Beno for Australia both took 5-ers in December 1959.
Oh, I do like that. And there's Wood looking to bowl full down the leg side though, and taken by Butler. I like the way he had a potential stat. just sort of raising the tension.
What I'm saying is Mark Wood could just do for all the stats fans around the world, don't take a wicket this over.
He'll just spoil it, won't he? Spoil all the fun. 317 for 9, the lead 113.
And Ali, as we can see from our monitors, all the boys have the clothes on.
Not expecting this to last very long. Wood racing in now, and hit on the body. Wood's ended up on his knees as well, falling over in his follow through, but it's a bit of a heave from Roach, didn't make any contact.
Yeah, a bit out of character, but that's about the 4th or 5th time Wood has fell after his action today.
Yeah, I can't remember. I mean, he's done it in the past. I can't quite recall the reasons for it. It's just losing balance or extra effort.
To be fair, he puts everything in. When he finished ball, his chest is parallel to the ground, but stay on your feet, would he?
If anything else, he's ending up with horribly grazed hands. Could do himself another injury. Wood's in again and getting well behind this. Roach in solid fashion. Straight bat and back up the pitch into the hands of Mark Wood.
A grazed hand may actually provide some moisture to shine the ball, Ali, so you never know, it could be a tactic.
The wrong kind of moisture. I think Mark Wood said last night that for him, anyway, he tends to get a bit of a sweaty back. Yeah. So that's the source of his sweat.
I think Ollie Pope was shining the ball our best earlier, and they did something with the back again. And it's strange. How can you get your hand up behind all those layers to get some back sweat to shine it?
I think it's maybe Well, maybe more the West Indies players have been layering up today. Oh, that's a lovely delivery, and had Roach just having to pull the hands inside the line, maybe a little bit late, but evaded making contact with the ball. Through to Butler. 2 men out for a hook or a pull shot at deep square leg and fine leg. He's doing some stretching down here. I think soon as well we'll see the England openers out in the middle doing a few shadow shots as well, as much as the West Indies players up in the dressing room are getting ready to take the field again.
Is that Dom Bess out fine leg shadow shotting, looking for...
getting ready to open. Here goes Wood, and again, I know he's worn that one. I think got enough on it, really. He's played it away behind the square leg umpire, but it was a mixture of bat handle and glove, and then pulling one hand off the bat and really awkwardly fending it away. Well directed by Wood.
There's no fast bowlers unit anymore, but with 1 ball left, what's Wood thinking? Full and straight at Shannon, 95 miles an hour, get a wicket, or hit him on the ribs or on the arm, and West Indies be 1 bowler short. Let's see, Woody.
Well, he's brought deep square leg up, simply saying, you could clear that man if you need to. He's gone full, and he's yorked him, and he's bowled him. Middle stump out of the ground. What a fabulous delivery from Mark Wood. That is how to clean up the tail. He's finally got himself in the wickets column, and the little clench of the fist shows an amount of relief, because he wanted to contribute with a wicket at least, and he's got one to finish off the West Indies innings. It's Gabriel who's out for 4. Fine sight that is for a bowler to see middle pole right out of the ground.
Yeah, I'm just happy he hit the stumps and not Shannon. Get in, come back out and utilise whatever little light is left for the rest of the day. But I must commend the West Indies. Before the series we spoke about being in England and not getting 400 and 500 run scores, but actually consistent scores of 300 and 300 plus can actually win you test matches and go some way to helping win the series, and they've started in fine fashion in this first test.
They have. They are all out for 318, the West Indies. So in reply to England's 204, it means they take a lead of 114. And it's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky. England are going to have to, bat much, much better than they did in the first innings. Conditions more in England's favour, although we'll wait to see. There's still plenty of overs. How many? Well, it'll probably be time, won't it, more than getting all the overs in today?
16 left. That's not including the change of innings where they dock 2 overs off, I think. But time will be the issue.
Yeah, I'm just looking over to the right-hand side where the cloud is tending to come from. It's a bit of a mix of cloud and blue sky. I mean, ordinarily, if you get a beautiful sunlit evening, no problem with the light, but we haven't had that the last 2 evenings, have we? Yeah,
but spare thought for Dom Sibley. Put into bat, overcast conditions. 4 balls, then had to watch the rest of the first day, second day, and then fielded the whole of the third day in bright sunshine, then only to have to come about 14 overs in fading light and fast bowlers that are pumped and ready to go.
Yeah, they will be, that's for sure. Tricky for the openers, always tricky to have to come out and start a new innings at this time of the evening. I'll go down the scorecard for this West Indies innings then, resuming this morning on 57 for 1. That was after the wicket of John Campbell as LBW to Anderson for 28. Craig Brathwaite batted nicely. He for his 65 showed a great amount of discipline and patience. He was at LBW to Stokes for 65. His was actually the 3rd wicket to fall. Second man out was Shea Hope, who was caught by Stokes off the bowling of Dom Bess. So that was just after the drinks break. He was out for 16. Shamar Brooks caught behind off Anderson for 39. Jermaine Blackwood was caught by Anderson of mid-off off Bess. It was a cameo sort of innings from him, and it was a soft dismissal really in the end, hitting it straight to Anderson. Roston Chase, LBW, Anderson 47. Shane Dowrich 61, really battled away, caught by Butler off Stokes. Should add that Roston Chase really did graft as well for his 47. Jason Holder. Now it's quite a moment, wasn't it? Because Ben Stokes was bowling to him, the captain to captain, all-rounder to all-rounder, the top 2 in the world. It was. And it was Stokes that got his revenge this time. So 1-1, if you like. We look forward to round 3. Caught by Archer. It's a short ball, the shortest that Holder had faced, in fact. And he latched onto it, heaved it away into the deep, and Jofra Archer was there to come running in and take a good catch, tumbling. So Holder was out for just 5. And that really opened up the tail then. Alzari Joseph bowled by Stokes for 18. Shannon Gabriel bowled by Wood for 4. Gabriel out for 4, yep. And then Roach not out 1.
4.
Yes, it was, yeah. Lofted 4 down the ground. So the bowling figures, I'll get Andy to go through those.
Anderson 25 overs, 11 maidens, 3 for 62. Jofra Archer 22 overs, 3 maidens, none for 61. Mark Wood 22 overs, 2 maidens, 1 for 74. Ben Stokes 14 overs, 5 maidens, 4 for 49. And Dom Bess 19 overs, 5 maidens, 2 for 51.
So Stokes still there, 4 for 49, the chief wicket taker amongst the England innings. We'll keep an eye really on whether he's going to be impacted by that toe of his, which is giving him a little bit of discomfort. Just to remind you that tonight from 7 p.m. on BBC Two you can see the highlights of today's play on Today at the Test, and that'll be available on the iPlayer to watch as well whenever you like. You can watch the video clips of today's action right now. They're available via the BBC Sport website and app. So it will be battle commencing. Rory Burns and Dominic Sibley to come back out. Sibley, remember, a duck in the first innings, so he'll be someone that the West Indies will be targeting, won't they?
Yeah, they need to get 1 or 2 wickets here. You don't want to come back tomorrow, bright sunshiny day, and allow England to get back into the game. The batters have done extremely well, followed up from where the bowlers have left off, and there's no time for the bowlers to come and do it all over again. 20 wickets wins you a test match, and they're 10 wickets away.
Yeah, when you put it like that, suddenly you realise the task that England face. They're needing to score 114 just to reach parity before they can even start setting a target for the West Indies.
What do you reckon is a good score?
What, to set a target to chase?
A target to set for West Indies.
I was wondering, actually asking Alistair Cook earlier about this pitch and this venue and how easy it is to chase on this ground. And I think they're going to struggle really with anything sort of let's say 180 to... If they can set England a target of 250, then that's going to be
250 is going to be challenging.
Really tough.
Don
Really
Best bowled well today with little assistance, and if this gets into the 5th day, deteriorating track, 250. How much did they chase at Headingley?
That was 300 something, wasn't it?
320, I think.
Yeah. Ben Stokes is very much relying on, I guess, said at the start that he thought the spin was going to come into play in the fourth innings to make that difficult. But the West Indies have got every chance. They've put themselves into the box seat here.
You may even see a bit of Joe Denley in some leg breaks.
Yes.
He's one of 2 persons to have scored a century and get a hat-trick in T20 cricket.
And who's the other one then?
Andre Russell.
Of course.
Yes, of course. If there's one person you had to put your money on, it would be Dre Russell.
Andre Russell. Oh, hey, Carlos, just before we get into this England innings, I have a bit of intel for you. Speaking of money, because I think you'd like a fun pigeon fact in the innings break. Discovered what the most expensive racing pigeon went for. Can you imagine? A pigeon was sold in China in March of this year for $1.4 million.
What?
1.4 million.
Yen.
It says dollars.
As in US dollars?
US dollars, I presume this is. Yes. Whoa. Yeah. And I tell you, there's such big business involved in pigeon racing. This reputable business magazine reports that in 2018, 2 men tried to win the prize money at a pigeon race by smuggling their birds on a bullet train. There are organised criminal rings getting involved in kidnapping valuable racing pigeons.
Ali, we've discovered a whole new world. I never knew this existed.
And there are over 800 breeds, so I know you came to the party with a few breeds, but you've got about another 792 to research before your next stint.
I saw one race had a $200,000 prize, and I was like, started to look a little deeper into it, but 1.4 mil.
Yep. So get saving if you want to enter the world of racing pigeons. Now, the 2 England batsmen are coming down the steps and getting ready to head out to the middle to try and make up this deficit. West Indies fine effort with the bats to put themselves in a commanding position. And it'll be all for Rory Burns and for Dominic Sibley to do here to try and get through to the close. Phil Tufnell, they're going to have to dig deep.
Yeah.
Play each ball on its merits.
Yes, without a shadow of a doubt. But going back to the pigeons, have you ever seen a baby pigeon?
Can't say that I have. Can't say that I have.
Why haven't you seen it? Well, I've never seen a baby pigeon.
You make a good point. Maybe they stay in their nests,
Yes.
hidden well in the trees
Until
they're
they've
big
grown.
enough to come out. Well, you'd like to, they've got to have proper wingspan, I guess, haven't they? Otherwise, they'll just tumble out of the nest. I don't
Or
know.
just
what all
walk about. You've got to be able to fly, I suppose, haven't you?
That would help, wouldn't it, as a pigeon? But no.
Yeah.
Good point. Good
Yeah, no, Dominic Sibley, he's under a bit of pressure, isn't he? No one wants to get a bear in the first test. He would have been thinking that, standing at first slip, watching those last couple of wickets fall. So I think Rory Burns will have to be alive to a little quick taken single.
Yep, and Shannon Gabriel having punched a ball beautifully down the ground, lofted it beautifully down the ground for 4. That wasn't his main job. This is. And he'll be eager to come out and make an impact here at one end and Kemar Roach at the other. Looks like it's going to be Kemar Roach to open the bowling from our end of the ground, be running away from us at the media centre end up towards the Rod Bransgrove Pavilion with a wonderful bank of trees behind that frame this Rose Bowl ground.
Beautiful.
And let's hope we get a sunlit evening, I suppose, for, well, England batsmen will be hoping in a sense that the light stays good. If the light starts to get murky, they'll want it to get murky enough that they can get off. But at the moment, the floodlights aren't on, and the light is good to go. So, Kemar Roach he went wicketless in the first innings.
When was the last time that happened, I wonder?
The ball in hand though now, and Rory Burns is down on his haunches doing a little bit of stretching, 3 slips in the gully. Backward point, mid-off, mid-on, square leg and fine leg ready for the start of this England second innings. On day 3, game has moved forwards today, huge leaps and bounds.
Partnerships the key for England. West Indies did that quite well, put together some decent partnerships, wore England down on a flat, docile-ish sort of pitch.
Here we go then. Kemar Roach to Burns, and Roach is around the wicket to the left-hander. Good length outside the off stump, but Burns isn't tempted into offering a shot. Not a great amount of movement. There's the sun just peeps behind the cloud. A little bit blinding for us actually, coming straight in through the window, but bright sunshine out in the middle right now then. Roach walking back to his mark. And Sibley's got a little bit of time, hasn't he, to contemplate before facing the first ball. I don't know what's worse, being down at the non-strikers there, knowing that you're on a pair, or whether you'd just rather get on and face your first ball. Burns awaits and Roach is in again, firing one in on the pads, outside edge, streaks past the diving gully all the way down to the boundary for 4s, racing away across the outfield. But it seemed off the outside edge.
It was a good line. Oh yeah, just seamed away as well. Luckily sort of Burns stayed with the shape and stayed with the line of the delivery, nipped away, thick outside edge. England got to get over this new ball tonight. How many overs left, Ali? What, 12, 13?
We play until 7:30.
Oh, play until 7:30.
7
right,
o'clock.
Yeah, 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock tonight, beg your pardon.
Right, OK, so we've got 40 minutes. Crucial little period of
Roach
play.
bustles in around the wicket, outside the off stump again. Just looking with this angle again, see if he can look at the angle around the wicket, then get it to shape away from Burns, bring those slips into play.
Very fashionable now, isn't it, to go straight round the wicket with the opening batsman if they're left-handed.
You've got that ability to.
Yeah, but as you say, most of these opening bowlers have been working on that ability very, very hard, and they seem to have cracked it.
Roach sets off. Burns leans towards him, comes forward defensively, angling the bat. He's going to take a quick single then into the offside. And he's on to 5, so it brings Sibley on strike for the first time. With 2 balls left in this over from Kemar Roach, so Sibley's coming down the track. A little bit of a word with Rory Burns. Just a bit of sense of how's the ball coming out of the hand, what's it doing. Any little word of advice that Rory Burns can offer him? Any words of advice from you, Tuffers?
Well, hopefully Mr. Roach will just bowl one on his pads. Nice little full-length delivery, because he likes hitting it through that onside, does Dom Sibley. He doesn't want any little testers just outside that off stump, so he'll be hoping for a nice simple one just to clip through the leg side.
England 109 behind. Start of their second innings, evening of day 3. Roach in now to Sibley on a pair, and he's got bat on it, but up to mid-wicket. Straight to the fielder, no run.
Nearly obliged, but a bit full. Almost a Yorker. I had to sort of dig that out. Just got to keep calm. A couple of deep breaths. Watch the ball. Believe in your talent.
This must have felt like he'd been sitting in that dressing room for forever since he first went out to bat.
Could you imagine? Opening batter. Oof, not for me.
Faced 4 balls for his nought. Last ball of the over, Roach in, and Sibley gets a full delivery, gets back to it, back up the pitch, so he stays on nought. He survived 2 balls, and look at this energy from the West Indies. Wow. Sprinting fairly from the slipped cordon right the way down to the other end of the pitch. Yeah. And why not? Yeah, England 109 behind, 5 without loss. Shannon Gabriel is going to be coming on to bowl. Simon Mann will be describing it. So Tuffers, another few words from you in the meantime.
Yeah. You usually do that when you know you've only got a little 40-minute spell in the field. Lots of energy. Awkward time for openers. You always seem to perhaps lose 1 wicket. The odds not stacked in your favour. You're not really batting for anything. You're just batting for the close of play and coming back tomorrow and starting again. Simon.
Hello.
Hello.
So just over 35 minutes of play left. 13 overs in theory. We won't get them all. It's going to be Shannon Gabriel who made the early incisions in England's first innings to bowl from the far end from us, the Rod Bransgrove pavilion end. The dressing room's down there at the far end. England to the right, West Indies to the left, and Burns scratching away at the crease, waiting to receive his first ball from Gabriel. So 5 for no wicket. England 109 runs behind.
Useful.
3 slips and a gully. And West Indies have given themselves something to bowl with here. Here is Gabriel. Bowls to Burns. Oh, it's a beauty. It's an absolute beauty first up that swings past the outside edge of Burns' bat. It was angled in and swung away. You'd have done well to hit that.
Yeah. They're all doing it now, aren't they, these fast bowlers to the left-handers? Always used to start, you know, over the wicket and try and run it across the left-hander for the slips. But as you say, that was an absolute corker. Angled in at good pace, 90-odd miles an hour, and just left him.
It was Jermaine Blackwood at first slip. He just, hands on his head. How on earth did he miss that? Well, it was actually too good. You're happy as an opening batsman if it is too good. If it beats your edge by a long way. There's Gabriel bowling. Another one that goes away, but it started wide, so Burns didn't have to play at it. And taken by Dowrich. So what sort of score do you think England need here in their second innings, Tuffers?
350.
350 to set West Indies, 240 to win, something like that.
Yeah, and then hopefully that is why they decided to have a bat first, to get the West Indies on a pitch that is perhaps going up and down. A bit of reverse might come into it as well, so the likes of Wood and Archer might really come into play, and also Bess, who I thought bowled beautifully in that first inning. But you've got to get the runs on the board. I think anything less than 300.
This is Gabriel going into bowl to Burns. Burns plays defensively, running it down into the slips area where it's picked up by John Campbell.
Yeah, I mean, what is a tricky score to get in the last innings? So anything over 150 is tricky. But I was quite impressed with the way the West Indies batted. You know, we were all sort of coming into this game saying that it looked a little bit fragile. But you know, they compiled partnerships and looked in good form.
Yeah, you'd think England want absolute minimum 210, wouldn't you? 220 minimum
to chase, you mean?
For West Indies, set them 210, 220. Obviously, they'd like more than that. If they possibly could. Here is Gabriel, bowls to Burns. Burns plays defensively back up the pitch, and there's no run. And if you did have 210, 20 in the bank, then you're right. That final day, the reason we batted first comes into play, or should do in theory. If you've got this pitch right, and a chase of 220 in the final innings on an unpredictable pitch. It might be tricky.
Yeah.
If it does prove to be unpredictable.
Oh yeah, we're all sort of.
Yeah, it might not be. It might be, knock off 220. 2 wickets down. Thanks very much.
Continue to be a bit of a road.
Yeah.
I think we're in for a good game.
Yeah. Well, it has been a good game, the cricket we've seen so far. Gabriel bowls another beauty past the outside edge of Burns' bat.
Good luck.
Yeah. Good luck chasing, or setting 220 at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, crucial period. Got to get this new ball old, and get that shine knocked off it, because that is an absolute another beauty. That's a bit of a wobble seam more than swing.
Yeah.
Like Jimmy Anderson comes around the wicket like that, he's looking to swing it past the left-hander's outside edge, but that sort of bowled into the pitch and takes a good piece of it. That wobble seam, beauty.
3 slips in a gully, waiting for the outside edge. Gabriel at the top of his mark, leans forward and then sprints in and bowls to Burns, and Burns lets that hit him on the body. It beats the keeper. It's coming down towards fine third man. They're off for a leg bye as the throw comes in. No shot played, of course. No shot played. One of those where they ran to the other end. It's whether he was slightly taking evasive action or not.
Yeah. That was jagged back in, Simon. One has jagged away from the outside edge, and that one, Burns has gone to leave, and that's absolutely nipped back a mile and thudded into the inside thigh.
Yeah, there wasn't one where he sort of turned your head and it hits you. That one, he shouldered arms and slightly flinched as it allowed the ball to come to him. But definitely no shot played, so the run has been disallowed.
This is when, as an opening batsman, you've got to realise it will get easier, because they're nipping about all over the place from Gabriel.
5 for no wicket. That was the last ball of the over. Roach goes in and bowls to Sibley, and that one bounces at him and strikes him on the arm, I think, on the elbow, and it runs down into the slip cord. If it struck him on the glove, it might well have gone up for a catch, but he was looking at his right elbow there. Well, from what we've seen so far, England will do well to set them 200 to win.
Great delivery. Rose at him, and he was playing a nice tall sort of back defensive, and it's just rose up and took the glove. That could have easily just got a thinner feather of a glove and gone through to the clips.
Roach bowls to Sibley. This time he shows the full face of the bat to Roach and plays the ball quietly towards mid-on, and there is no run. Sibley on a pair. He's had a long time to think about that as well. 2 o'clock on the first day, or not long after, when he was dismissed. Second over of the match. 5 for no wicket. Again, lots of support out there for Kemar Roach. West Indies trying to generate that energy in the field. There's Roach bowling wide of the stumps, and Sibley's off the mark. He's off his pair. He was angling in, put the bat there, and it deflected down towards fine leg. And Sibley gets his first run of the summer.
Phew. He's off them. Off and running.
First run of the summer on the 10th of July.
Yeah. It's been a long time coming, isn't it? He'll be delighted with that, though. No one wants a pair, do they?
How many pairs did you get in first class cricket? You remember?
2 or 3. I got a pair in Test cricket. I got 1 pair, I think. I must have another one somewhere. I mean, I'd be disappointed if I didn't manage to get another one somewhere in 20 years.
Roach bowls to Burns outside the off stump. Burns lets it go through to Dowrich. Does it affect a lower order batsman in the same way as a top order player? Did he mind that much? Were you seething?
Well, it all depends who was bowling, really. Yes, of course, you don't want to get a pair. No one wants to get a pair, but no, I mean...
Your job was to bowl, though.
Yes, exactly. Without a shadow of a doubt, it would affect a top order batsman more than a
But what I'm saying is, did it bother you that much? Or
yeah, no, I didn't want to get a pair. No, if you say.
Roach to Burns outside the off stump. Burns gets one quite wide. He covers the angle of off stump, allows it to go by.
Well, I told you, I got 0 not out and 0 out in my first test match at the MCG. 0 for and 0 for. in the bowling department as well.
How did you feel after the game?
Well, that is actually called an Audi. 3 noughts, 4 noughts, all in a row. Got 5 for every second. That's Sydney.
Made up for it.
Yeah.
6 for no wicket. Here is Roach bowling down the leg side. The pill for a catch there against Burns. Umpire says not out. Umpire Kettleborough. What are West Indies going to do here? They've overturned quite a few in this Test match. They are not going to review that.
When is a 0 or a 0 any good for you? Especially in sport.
Goalkeeper.
Oh, clean sheet. Very good.
No goals conceded.
Yes, very good.
So that goes across the board, doesn't it? I suppose for hockey goalkeepers as well. Ice hockey goalkeeper.
Yes, for goalkeepers it is.
Yeah.
Apart from that.
Or if you're not out, blocking out for a draw, and you bat for 20 overs.
I wish I hadn't started this now. All right.
Sprinter. 0 seconds.
Well, yes. I think they might be looking into that.
6 for no wicket. That was the last ball of the over. On pointless. That's not quite sport, is it? But
well, we were on pointless, weren't we? We were on pointless.
How did we get on?
But we got through to the semi-final. John was in the final. And
here's Gabriel bowling to Sibley, and Sibley, well, withdraws the bat there. It was a good line from Gabriel, but Sibley was shaping to play it and then holding the bat inside the line.
Yeah, John and Mel Farrell got through to the final on pointless. Yeah, we were pipped at the post, me and Michael Vaughan.
Michael Vaughan, since we're talking about him, asked about matches won by teams with deficits of 100 runs or more in Test cricket. There have been 49 such victories from first innings deficits of 100 or more.
I suppose we need how many were unsuccessful, and how many were 100 behind in first innings. There it, Gabriel bowls one that comes back into Sibley, let one go in the first innings, hit the top of his off stump. That was taken down the leg side by Dowrich, if you sort of mean, but it had gone past the off stump, so it did come back in.
Yeah.
And Sibley, fine judgment there.
And kept low.
Yeah.
A little bit of gardening, that is. Usually a sign that it keeps a bit low.
I'm all over those numbers, Simon. So I've looked at matches where teams have had a deficit between 90 and 140, so in which this is sort of slap bang in the middle of that 50-run bracket.
114 is the deficit. Here's Gabriel. He goes in now past the umpire and bowls to Sibley, lets that one go as well, and that jags back, and that's taken well down the leg side by Dowrich. The ball past the off stump.
Would have been a carbon copy of the first innings.
Very close, very close.
There have been 398 matches in which a team has been 90 to 140 runs behind. 35 times the team has overturned that deficit to win, so fewer than less than 1 in 10. 217 times they've lost. There have been a lot of draws. We don't see so many draws in Test cricket nowadays. So basically, you've got a 6 times better chance of winning than losing from a deficit of the type that England are facing here.
It shows the task ahead of England in this Test match.
He fell right into his trap there, Simon.
I knew he wouldn't let me down there. Here's Gabriel bowling, straight ball outside the off stump this time to Sibley, who allows it to go through to Dowrich. 6 for no wicket, 108 runs behind. Of course, that Headingley Test match, we mentioned this earlier, England were like 169 behind on first innings, and they did lose the game. It was a game I didn't think they should have lost. I didn't think they should have declared on the 4th evening. I think they should have got a few more runs. And I wasn't wise after the event because I said it at the time, but
very good.
And West Indies knocked them off the next day. That was a strange one. When you get that far behind, then you declare, thinking you've got enough, and you still lose. Not quite the same thing. Gabriel sets off again to bowl to Sibley with this wide open stance. Sibley comes forward, offers the full face of the bat, turns it that bottom hand into the onside towards Roach and mid-on, and there is no run.
to encourage England. They had 2 victories from deficits of over 100 last summer. Famously, the Ben Stokes match at Headingley, they were 112 behind on first innings after being bowled out for 67 in reply to Australia's 179. And the first test of the summer against Ireland, England were 85 all out on day one. Ireland scored 207, so 122 run deficit. England made 303 and then skittled Ireland for 38. So they have had some recent experience both at defending small totals. They had a couple of great wins against India defending small totals and overturning first innings deficits.
As I suppose you talk about that first innings deficit, it depends whether you bat first or bat second. Here is Roach bowling to Sibley, gets the bat down just in time on another ball that seems to keep a bit low, goes square with the wicket on the onside, and Sibley nips through for a single, his second run, and it's 7 for no wicket. It's probably easier to win if you're batting in the third innings than if you're batting second and fourth, because normally if your team gets a 100-run lead and they batted first, that psychological element, they're always taking the game away from you. But if you bat third, once you get ahead again, you start to eat away at the opposition, because they've got to go out and get those runs. No, you're not with me, Tom?
No, I haven't. It took some keeping up with, though. I know exactly what you mean. Just noticed something about Dom Sibley there. Sorry, is that that seems to be a little that ball that comes back to him and he's leaving it outside off stump. I think I know why that might trouble him a little bit, or look susceptible to it.
He's on strike. That was the last ball of the over, because Roach is coming in to bowl to him now, and he plays defensively towards mid-on.
Because when he's leaving, you want to sort of get that front leg out to the line of the ball. He leaves wherever that ball is by just putting that foot straight down middle stump. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of actually then sort of the head and that foot going towards the ball and then deciding to leave. So if it does jag back, at least you've got a little bit of pad there, which could create a bit of doubt. But he just sort of a short step, just straight down, just leaving that off stump wide open.
Yeah. Roach into bowl to Sibley, who edges that along the ground down into the slip cordon, where it's stopped by Campbell, and there's no run. Just to go back, just to tidy up that 100-run deficit. I think I'd rather be 100 runs behind batting first than 100 runs behind batting second.
Yes, I'll tell you the answer to that. Don't be 100 runs behind.
Well, that's the other way. Preferably, yeah.
I know what you mean.
7 for no wicket in the 5th over of England's replying, and to battle to the close, and Roach bowls to Sibley and takes it past the outside edge of Sibley's groping bat. Terry Kofi emails from Indiana, USA. Naught ever being a good number in sport. I'm surprised Tuffers didn't think it might be good for a bowler to have a 0 runs conceded. Doesn't happen very often, though, does it? Not for a short spell, possibly.
Yeah.
Thanks to the commentary, says, makes my work day go much smoother.
Indiana, USA.
Yeah.
Wow.
Roach bowls to Sibley. Sibley lets that one go.
Like we said, did you see that again? It's outside that off stump, but he puts his foot straight down the line, a sort of middle of the leg.
Well, his left foot is quite a long way over already.
Yeah.
Take quite a big movement to go from there.
Exactly.
To there, isn't it? It's a big movement from left to right.
Yeah.
Because he has such an open stance.
Yes, and that's also why he's so good. You look like you were doing the Paso Doble there for a minute.
Multitasking, Roach bowls to Sibley, and Sibley, is he beaten there? I think he is. He might just have been playing the line of off stump rather than playing the ball, but it wasn't far away from the edge. Stephen Davenport. Naught's pretty handy for a baseball pitcher. 0 base hits through a 9 innings win is a no-hitter, and it's a perfect game if in addition no runners have reached first base by any other means. I might have been reading French there, or German.
Yes.
I don't understand that, but I'm sure there will be people out there who did understand it.
Well, especially the chap from Indiana, USA.
7 for no wicket. Last ball of the over. Roach wide of the crease, balls down the leg side. There's appeal for a catch. More from the slips than anyone else. Certainly not the wicketkeeper, who was sprawling, and certainly not from Roach. Anyway, excitement out there. West Indies desperate for a wicket. End of the over. 20 minutes play left. 7 for no wicket. England 107 runs behind. Burns 5, Sibley 2. More from Tuffers, and then to take you to the close, it will be Jonathan Agnew.
Yeah, hanging on grimly here. England's openers. They bowl well again, the West Indies, attacking that off stump, making them play. Has moved about off the seam a bit as well, so Thankful not to have lost a wicket. Been impressed with Gabriel. Has that good angle for an opening bowler. Always testing your technique on that corridor of uncertainty. But they've managed to survive.
I need another head. I can't get it in. I can't. I've tried about 4 times today.
Yes. You've had trouble all game.
I know. Story of my life. 7 for no wicket. And Gabriel's going to continue from the far end. Well, beautifully so far.
Yeah.
Burns on 5. Left-handed, of course. Down go the slips. Gabriel bowls. 2 minutes. Punch that away. Pass mid on. Nice stroke. Chase for Roach. Down towards that onside boundary where there are a number of England reserves sitting. And that's gone for 4. So it's very nicely timed. And they're ticking off the time and the overs here.
Yeah.
8 overs remain. Well, they won't get those, but we've got 20 minutes of play. Can England hang on? There'll be a night watchman handed up. We can't.
Who's nighters?
It can't be Jimmy again. Can
No, it might be. Because Woody can get a few. It might be Woody. Might be.
Yeah.
You'd
think that James Anderson now is sufficiently senior. Wouldn't you to pass it on to somebody else?
Yeah. I wouldn't be found, of course.
No, I don't know. That's one of the great arts, isn't it? Hiding. And that comes around. Gabriel thunders up and bowls, and is very full indeed outside the off stump. And Burns gets into line, squeezes the ball away to backward point. And England are 103 runs behind. If you're just tuning our way for the first time today, they're well behind in this game, a long way behind, and they're going to need something pretty miraculous to avoid defeat. They're going to bat for a very, very long time.
I think they've got it in them. I think they've got it in them, this side. As we saw in South Africa, they're full of character.
What they've got to do, they're going to have to make these West Indian bowlers work hard and get lots of overs in their legs.
Exactly.
They're not, they are fit, but they're not match fit.
No.
See them running in up tea time tomorrow.
Yeah.
11 for no wicket. Here's Gabriel tearing up, and he bowls outside the off stump. Nothing from Burns. He lets it go through. Wasn't too far away.
What they have done, one of the West Indies bowlers, is haven't been knock both sides of the wicket and just let those singles rotate strike and let those runs slowly build up. They've sort of put together good sequences of play, joined the dots, bowled maidens, put batsmen under pressure, and that shows in the way England bowled of those partnerships that the West Indies managed to get. It's all about partnerships, especially batting third.
Gabriel wheels round at the far end, pauses for a moment. And shoulders rocking, is on his way. Burns it there. It's also a good ball.
Belter.
Quick, short of a length, bouncing and flying past the outside edge of the bat. All happened very quickly.
Nothing threatening Gabriel.
Yeah, he's giving absolutely everything, the big fella. Entertained us with a regal boundary when he came out to bat. Yeah.
Just straight over me.
Yeah, I think it took everyone by surprise, that one, including himself. It didn't last much longer after that, obviously, but
no, I think wasn't he not out? He was just getting going, wasn't he? Oh, he was out. Was he the one who got bowled?
He was out.
Oh, I thought it was Roach who got bowled.
No,
sorry.
Got the cruelly straight ball. Becomes again 103 behind, and that's another good delivery. Burns plays it well though, lining it up and allowing it to go through to the keeper Dowrich, who starred for West Indies today.
He did indeed.
Very good 61. He was the 9th man out. Bowling wise, Anderson 3 for 62, Stokes 4 for 49, Archer no wicket for 61, Wood 1 for 74.
Yeah. Captain fantastic again, didn't he? He came to the party when England needed it.
Yeah,
he really did. 4 for on a placid pitch. Good stuff.
3 slips waiting. Gabriel again pauses at the start of his run. A stuttery start. Walks maybe 3 or 4 paces and straight into a sprint. Here he comes, bowls, and it's not far away from that off stump again as Burns lets it go by, showing very good judgment. He's got a rueful smile on his face as looking up there at the bowler as he walks past him. 11 for no wicket, 6 overs gone, 103 behind, and Andy's got something important to say.
Well, Ben Stokes today took his 150th Test wicket, He recently passed 4,000 runs as well. Only 6 players in Test history have achieved a double of 4,000 runs and 150 wickets. Garfield Sobers was the first to do that. He had just over 8,000 runs, 235 wickets. Ian Botham, 5,200 runs, 383 wickets or so. Kapil Dev, Jacques Kallis and New Zealander Daniel Vettori. So Stokes is just the 6th player on that list.
And I think he's second fastest.
Oh, beaten here against Sibley.
I think
Roach continues.
I think he's second fastest, just 1 test behind Sir Garfield Sobers.
Yeah, I think the reason for that is he's scored more runs. He's probably batted a bit higher than some of them, so he's reached the 4,000 run mark a lot quicker, but his wickets per match is lower than the rest of those. So that's a slightly misleading statistic, but nevertheless it's a great achievement to have 4,000 runs and 150 wickets.
I wasn't listening to clearly. Was Hadley mentioned in that list or not?
He didn't get that many runs, but he took lots and lots of wickets.
Now, that's the next one. Sibley's forward as Roach pitches up. And Gabriel stoops at mid-on, picks the ball up. With watery sunlight coming through our window again here now.
Still some decent company. Keeping some decent company.
Oh, yes.
Mr. Stokes, and got a lot more to come.
He is.
A great cricketer.
Yeah, Hadley had just over 3,000 runs and 430 wickets. A number of players have been just short of 4,000 runs. Shakib Al Hassan, Andrew Flintoff, Sean Pollock, Chris Cairns, Ravi Shastri, all close.
Roach, shoulders rocking as he runs in, and that's ignored by Sibley this time, letting it go through outside the off stump.
And Imran Khan, one of the greatest cricketers of all time, currently with a rather busy job. He had 3,800 runs, 362 wickets, and for a period in the 1980s, over about, I think it was about a 30-test period, he averaged over 50 with the. So it was about averaged about, I think, 45 with the bat and 15 with the ball. So
wow.
He was a good player in those days.
Special cricketer. Yeah. Kapil Dev.
Yeah.
He had 5,000 runs and 434 wickets.
Oh, OK, so he wasn't that list. Sorry, I missed that. There's Sibley again, and that one keeps low outside the off stump.
Yeah, it's starting to come into play a bit here, John, isn't it? That ball that's just keeping low, squatting down.
Well, I heard a bit of a debate on television just now about the roller, and I'm assuming that they're going to put the light roller on, and I was listening to some batsmen on the telly saying surely in England with 40 minutes to go,
on the heavy,
you just get the big one on, you just flatten it out, and you just go, we'll come back tomorrow and see what there is, but let's just absolutely just flatten it out.
It's a bit of a dark art, isn't it?
It is.
The roller.
Yeah. 11 for no wicket. As Roach beats Sibley again.
Beauty.
He can't believe it. And Sibley's again got a wry smile on his face as he plays the shot again. England 103 behind. They're just trying to hang on here in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that's angled in from Roach. Perfect length. That wobble seam, it's not swing, it's that wobble seam that him and Gabriel are using. And it's absolutely gone like a leg break.
Yeah, beautiful ball. No shame in being beaten by that one.
No, too good. Take your guard, move on.
Last ball of the over. Sibley will be pleased just to get through this. Very open stance, and he allows that one to go through outside the off stump. And it's the end of that over. Another testing, probing, challenging over. It's 11 for no wicket. Charlie Dunn in Stirlingshire, naught being a good score in sport. They've clearly been talking about.
Yeah.
There's naught a perfect score in equestrian eventing.
Oh,
certainly is.
Yes, you should know that, John.
Yeah, pretty good in show jumping.
Oh. Loads of noughts that are good.
You're starting to feel better about your batting career.
Yes, thank you, yes. Thank you very much. I've got loads of noughts, thank you.
Now the change here. Jason Holder's coming on for a go. He's got 6 wickets in the first innings.
Why not?
And he's coming up for. He's taking Gabriel off. Well, he bowled very well, the big fast bowler. But I think Holder's just going to have a go here and just try and probe around that off stump at a slightly fuller length than Gabriel. See if he can find this outside edge. Bowling to Burns, a long leg. Roach is at square leg. He's in animated discussion there with the umpire. So mid-on, and Gabriel's a bit off. 3 slips and a gully as the West Indies captain runs in to bowl the first ball for him in this innings. It's a little bit short, and Burns can stand up and push it away into the offside. And there's no run.
Might have been tempted to keep Gabriel going.
Going well, wasn't it?
Cool. You know, give us another couple of overs, and then we're going to walk off. You know, go take your shoes off and have a rub down. But obviously fancies a go himself, but he's obviously in a bit of nick. Good rhythm. Confidence is high after that first innings performance.
There's a night watchman that they're zooming in on here
who
with
is
the camera.
it?
I can't see who it is. It's Holder. And it's nudged away into the leg side by Burns, getting back and across.
It was Bess.
It's Bess, is it?
Oh, he played well in the first innings. I might be tempted to keep him up his sleeve. Looks good cricket at best, didn't he?
Oh,
Bowled
yes.
well, batted well. What did he get? 31 first innings?
Yeah.
Live wire in the field?
Yeah. Combative. So isn't he? He's
Yeah.
up there as a spinner.
Yeah, definitely.
11 for no wicket. The drone's up there as well, actually, against the blue sky. That's caught my eye. It's Holder. Bowls. Yeah, a bit short. Burns going to stand in the crease and play that away with very soft hands into the offside. The ball went nowhere. We've got someone here wearing your big hat, I think. He's at first slip. That's an enormous hat. You're talking about the need to wear one of those.
It's the old Richie Richardson, wasn't it?
Yep.
The big Richie wide brimmer. Good hat that was.
It was.
Yeah.
He always wore it, didn't he?
Covered everything.
11 for no wicket. England 103 runs behind. Holder bowls and Burns again. Doesn't have to come forward to this. He's just hanging back in the crease. Holder can get up another couple of feet in length. Try and get him forward.
Yeah, it's been a test for him, hasn't it? So far, as I said, they've had one eye on the clock, these two opening batsmen, geeing each other up. Come on, nearly there. Come back again tomorrow, still 103 behind.
Yeah, I mean, from West Indies' point of view, England haven't really made any impression on that lead, have they? If they get through, they get through, and that's obviously good for England's perspective. Holder, short, and he tried to pull that. Completely mistimed the ball. Dribbled up to mid-on. Again, it just demonstrates Holder's not quite got his length right in this over. 11 for no wicket, 1 ball to go. We'll have our full review, of course, of the day at the close of play at 7 o'clock. I think we're going to hear from Ben Stokes, actually, during the course of that. Oh, it's been shelved. It's now James Anderson. These plans, they change, don't they?
He's had a tough day.
Yes.
Dug England out of a bit of a hole with the ball.
His Holder, that's a better length than the last ball, and Burns comes forward, plays it securely into the offside. The minutes ticking away, 6 to go, or thereabouts. So maybe a couple of overs for England to survive.
I think we might see a bit of Roston Chase as well tomorrow.
Yep, haven't seen him in the first innings.
Bit of off spin.
Let's make sure they get 2 overs in here. I think the West Indies have got a chap coming out there with some sweaters and various other paraphernalia. I'm not sure what he's got in his left hand there. It's a drinks bottle, I think. He's got a jumper in his right hand.
All sorts there.
One of the reserves. Yeah. They want to make sure they get 2 overs in. Got 4 slips. As Roach again is going to probe around and try and tease and torture Dom Sibley at that off-stump area. Squats now very open as Roach bowls to and shuffles forward. It's not quite as open as Peter Willey used to be, but it's not far off these days, Sibley's. Very open.
Yeah, both shoulders sort of facing down the pitch.
11 for no wicket. We're in the 9th over. Roach walks very slowly back to his mark. It's showing 5 to 7. And he goes shadow to his left, still from the sun, which is with us to our right. He runs in now and bowls short and wide of the off stump, and Sibley gets watch that go by.
Not by those.
No, not at all. Gathering over there, those are our friends from the telly, looking, preparing to go out and do their closing stuff. Roach slowly walks back towards us to 18:56 now on the clock. He goes again, a bit wider of the crease, and Sibley allows that to go by. Late decision. Safely past the off stump it went. 11 for no wicket. If you want to catch up with the highlights, well, today at the Test is on air on BBC 2 in 5 minutes. Tuffers, you better.
Oh, better get lively.
You better get on. You're getting on air. Getting on air in 4 minutes' time.
Get my trainers on.
Yeah. 11 for no wicket. The sun fully out now. Roach on his way, bowls, and once again Sibley can allow that to go through. He's just not being tempted at all.
Well, that's rather nice, isn't it? So you can just turn off the radio.
Yeah. See you in all your glory.
And then...
Did you do...
Did you do... That'll be a highlight.
Suffers is always a highlight to see you in all your glory.
Yeah, turn off the radio and then just stick the telly on and watch us in vision.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I know.
We've got it covered everywhere.
Do you feature in the opening today?
Huh?
Do you feature in the opening?
No, not the opening, but I did a nice piece on Don Bess.
Excellent. Roach again bowls, Sibley defends, playing into the onside. There's 3 minutes to go and 1 ball to go in this over. So they should, although Roach is walking back about as slowly as it's possible to walk. I think they will get that 1 more over in. Burns is trying a little bit of time wasting there. He's coming down and having a chat with his partner. Bright sunshine, lovely end to the day. England haven't lost a wicket in these 9 overs. Roach runs up and bowls. A ball again keeps low, just wide of the off stump, and Sibley ignores it. And that's the end of the over. There's 1 to go. 11 for no wicket. England are 103 behind. But if they can see this out, they will at least go into the last day, the 4th day, with all their wickets in hand. But they've got some batting to do. With a deficit like that.
I might get Roston into the game here. Throw the offie a little one just to get 2 or 3 round the back. Yeah, why not?
Okay.
2 or 3 up in front of the face. Got 1 turns.
Not a big turner of the ball.
No, but you know what I mean? Sometimes if you just get your line wrong as a seamer, you can waft them, watch them go past.
Yep.
At least with the spinner, there's going to be a bit of bat on ball, and I don't mind that.
Well, Burns is squeezing every last minute out here. He's retaking his guard.
Don't worry, Rory, it'll only be 1.
I think he will be all right. And the nice thing is for the night watchman, he can stand down now because if a wicket were to fall, he can't get in. 11 for no wicket. England are 103 behind. And we're starting the last over of the 3rd day. Jason Holder from the far end runs in bowls. He's going for over wicket this time to Burns. Nudges him away and says, there you go, I'm taking a single. Good luck, mate.
Yeah. You always know when you're in a bit of trouble there, because if he then sort of like leans on his bat and takes his gloves off. I'm not moving.
Well, let's see if Sibley might do the same thing.
Yeah.
Burns is coming down having a chat with him.
Yeah, he might just be saying sorry, mate.
Oh yeah, I didn't mean to do that at all.
Yeah. Well, you've got to take every run, haven't you?
You have, absolutely you have. The lead now reduced to 102, but still.
It's as you said, gone nowhere.
No, they haven't really, except they haven't lost wickets. Holder bowls and Sibley allows that to go by outside the off stump. Lots of chatter out there. You can hear from the West Indian fielders. Very animated. Why not? They're in such a strong position.
Yeah, pole position.
Yeah, all the pressure on England. They need to think about what has happened in this game. And the more I think about it, Tuffers, the more they just got a number of things wrong for this game.
Oh yes.
That morning, that first morning with the weather like that. Stuart Broad. His Holder bowls outside the off stump. Well, almost hit the off stump. There's some theatrics there amongst the slips, especially Campbell there on his knees at second slip, but that wasn't far away at all.
What do they say about there's 2 types of leaves, aren't there?
Yep.
And that, thankfully, was a good one.
Well, they're just trying to make sure that Sibley knows that he's very lucky still to be there. Sibley's just turned his back on it. The replay was being shown, and they're all saying, look at that.
Yeah.
They want him to play. They want him to push at it. And meanwhile, Burns are saying, good leave.
Yeah,
great leave. Well done.
That's a great line.
Yep.
Just came back as well.
Down go the slips. Holder's on his way again. Bowls to Sibley. Oh, there's a bit of bounce there. Climbs, rears really, and hits him up on the thigh pad. So we've seen up and down bounce.
Yep.
If that makes sense in the course of these opening overs. Some balls keeping low and some climbing like this one, which Sibley certainly wasn't expecting. It came cutting back too.
Yeah, the pitch is playing some shenanigans, isn't it? There's some shenanigans out there.
There are. Can you spell shenanigans?
Do I have to?
I thought it might be amusing for you to try.
SH. Is it?
Well,
We'll
it's
see,
good.
actually.
It's a good start. Here's Holder, bowls, and that's flicked away by Sibley. He might get 4 for this. That runs down to deep backward square leg. A lovely diving save down there keeps them down to 2, and they're not going to come back for the third.
Calm down.
You're on the telly, Tuffers, or at least Today at the Test is on BBC Two. If you want to catch up with today, BBC Two for the hour-long highlights show and an incisive dissection of Dom Bess to come at some stage.
Yes. I'd be very impressed with him. If I see him walking across, I might stick my head out on the balcony, on the window on the balcony.
Really?
Give him a thumbs up.
You'd appreciate that.
Yeah, I think he did well.
How many balls to go? 1, I think.
Member of the Spinning Brotherhood.
Absolutely. So, last ball of the day. West Indies Day. Can they get a wicket just to finish it off? Sibley on strike, Holder's on his way, and he bowls to him. He turns that away down to long leg, so he'll be on strike for the start of the 4th day tomorrow, when we will meet again. But for now, that's a terrific day for the West Indies, restricting England just to 15 runs from those 10 overs as well, so they really haven't got very far. And it means that the West Indies lead by 99 runs. And that's a tremendous place for them to be, for sure. They're walking off with the lengthening shadows. Very happy indeed. But, well, tomorrow's another day. They've got to come back and try and get England out for something that they can then knock off either tomorrow or on the final day. But at least England's openers there, they hung on in there. It wasn't comfortable at times. A lot of beating of the bat and some very, very narrow leaves by Sibley in particular, but they'll walk off content that at least they can fight another day tomorrow. So we'll start our review of the day, which of course can be downloaded as a podcast later on. We are going to hear from James Anderson at some stage in the course of the next 15 minutes or so. So the close of play of the 3rd day of the first test between England and West Indies at the Ageas Bowls is West Indies firmly in control. They were bowled out for 318. That gave them a lead of 114 over England, who of course has 204 in their first innings. At the close, England are 15 for no wicket, so they've got all 10 wickets intact, but that lead is still a big one. It's still 99 runs, and the West Indies are in a very strong position indeed. Batting wise, well, Shane Dowrich made a very good 61, a very patient 47 from Roston Chase, 142 balls he faced for that, and just generally a lot of discipline was shown. Shamar Brooks started very brightly, and then he again really showed a lot of discipline to get to 39, and England's bowling was not as good as we know it could be. A little rusty maybe. Anderson 3 for 62, Archer wicketless for 61, Mark Wood took the last wicket to fall, Shannon Gabriel 1 for 74, Dom Bess 2 for 51, bowled nicely, the off spinner, and Ben Stokes, the major wicket taker, 4 for 49 from 14 overs and 5 maidens.